right. So let's switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk all together, but I want to get to know a little bit about each one of you personally, right? So start ladies first. Shay, tell us a little bit about you. How were you growing up? Your childhood. You already told us about some of the good values you had, some of the role models you had. Did you do like anything in high school, like play sports, were in any clubs? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes. So my childhood was, I had a great childhood growing up, middle class childhood, raised by both parents in the home. As far as sports, I played volleyball, but I sucked at that. I think I probably tried to cheer at one point, probably sucked at that as well. But my childhood growing up, being raised by both parents, with my sister and my brother, I came from a very good, well-raised, grounded foundation childhood. So, yeah.
And this in Wilmington, you said?
In Wilmington, North Carolina.
Port City.
Yes,
Yeah.
Port City.
The Port.
Port City. So, yeah, both of my parents did a very good job at not only raising me, but my sister and brother as well. So, like I said, middle class, family, we didn't have everything. And in a sense, we weren't struggling. We were very middle class. So, yeah, I mean, my parents, they did a good job at raising us. So, yeah.
So did you get started like in any kind of nightlife out there, working in a business while you're in Wilmington before you moved out here? Or?
So out there, no, I was in the streets. I was in the streets after I graduated high school. I was in the streets a lot.
Just outside hanging out?
Yeah, I was in the streets and the trap houses a lot. And then whenever I finally ventured off to college, just kind of making my own way, that's when I had got into nightlife. So literally doing serving, bartending, hookah. I never was like the type, whenever I graduated high school, I'm like, fuck school. Like, I'm done with school. I'm not going to fucking college. Like, school is not for me. I just went through 12 years and I was not a straight A type of student. I was like just passing just enough to like graduate. So whenever I had graduated, I stayed home for a couple years, and then finally I had went off to where did I go? Damn, I went to St. Aug. No, I went to St. Aug in Raleigh, and literally I stayed for a semester. A semester. I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, the school shit is not for me. And then I went back home and I tried community college, and that's when I kind of got into like the serving industry. I worked at Smithfield's Barbecue.
Shout out Smithfield.
Okay.
Shrimp go
yeah,
hard.
I mean, yeah, worked in like all of hospitality, and I knew from right then and there, like that was always like what I loved to do. I love being in hospitality. I love meeting new people. I just love that whole demographic of that industry. And then finally, my best friend at the time from Wilmington, she was going to Central in Durham, and she had wanted me to come move in with her. She was in Durham. And, I just kind of stepped out on faith, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm leaving, left home, went to Durham. And then I tried to apply for Central. I didn't get in because my GPA was horrible. And then I ended up going to, what's the community college in Durham? It's like Durham Tech. Yeah, Durham Tech. Went to Durham Tech for probably 1 or 2 semesters, said, fuck this shit, flunked out of that, and then just got strictly into nightlife. I was working at Skewers in Durham. They're still there. They've been there for about probably like 12 years now.
Food is so good there.
Yeah. But did hookah there, did bartending. Actually, I was just doing serving. I never really did bartending. I just did serving, hookah, and that's pretty much it. And then from then on, I just kind of built up. I worked at, then I went and I worked at Hooters. And that's when I started working at Hooters. That's
serving?
when I started, serving. That's when I started kind of learning the game. Like, okay, I'm around like pretty bitches, like that know kind of how to
Hustling
like.
niggas,
That's when it finally started like clicking with me a little bit. Like, okay, like I can make X amount. If I know like as a server that I can make this amount off of a night. Because I was always really, really good at like bringing my regulars back. If I could make $1,000 in a night, like imagine what I can make just having like my own shit.
Right.
So from working at Hooters, and then like I mentioned earlier, I was working at Trips, and then man, I used to make a bag at Trips.
Right.
That's when I actually started my first bartending job. And at the time, I didn't know anything about bartending.
Nah.
And there was
Trial
this
by
guy.
fire, huh?
Yeah, there was this guy. His name was Lee, and he literally he taught me everything I needed to know.
You
about
gotta
bartending.
have something like that, yo.
Yeah, man, it was so crazy. It all happened so fast. But literally, Trips was my first bartending job before I had went to Will's to start bartending, and I just took it. I took everything that I knew. Also, too, with like all the jobs that I was doing, I always was promoted up to like either like a shift lead or like being in like a higher position. So like opening Explicit, all I did was literally I just took everything that I learned from Hooters, from this place to that place, and I kind of just made it my own. So yeah.
Out of all the things you did, like what did you enjoy the most out of bartending, serving, hookah, all that? What was like really your bag?
Meeting people, networking. That was always like the funnest part. Just meeting people and just knowing that, literally if I wanted to make a certain amount, all I had to do was go on my phone.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all I had to do.
Bars.
And that was just all about just building relationships. Like it wasn't even on other shit
network.
like that. Yeah, just my network, but just meeting people and networking people and just going from there.
So like I noticed like you really try to mentor a lot of the girls at Explicit.
Yeah.
Anybody else like listening to this podcast, what's some advice for them? Maybe some of the things you did in terms of how to bring your regulars back, right? What's something that they can know to help them out?
Man, this generation is just so different. This generation is just, it's different. I try to tell the girls, things that I use to my knowledge that I knew at the time, but we don't live in that generation anymore. It's just so different. Now, with the girls and the generation that we live in, they think that just because they're pretty or just because they have 12.5 or 1 million followers on Instagram, like that's going to get them somewhere,
Right.
And I try to teach the girls about who I was as a person, having morals about yourself, making sure that you are being a good representation of yourself. You're being a good representation of the brand. A lot of that shit goes out of the window because now, again, in this generation, we thrive off of sex. We thrive off of just the things that don't fall into
clout.
Yeah, that don't fall into who we are and how to be classy as women. People think they have to go out and have sex just to have guys come. And it's just like, no, like it's not that. Like you guys have to know how to really tap into like who you are as a person, your morals, your quality. That's what's really going to attract men. But that goes out the window a lot. So I just try to teach the girls the basics of how I got to the point where I got to, but it goes out the window a lot. So
and you preaching. I'm gonna give you a little round of applause on that.
Round of applause. Sounds good.
Yeah, man. That's real rap, yo. So yeah, if you heard that message, replay that, rewind the video, hear that again, maybe do it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Again, like that's not what it's about. If men don't like that.
We like the thrill of the chase.
Men don't like that bougie stuck up shit. That they don't like that shit. You know, if you go out, like it's a certain way it's a certain way you have to know how to carry yourself. That's not to say that's how every man, but if you want a quality man, like don't ever act like you're too good. You have to go out and show that you can do things for yourself. And again, this generation, they think it's all about likes, followers, posted. And real niggas, they don't care about that shit, So
can I just speak to that a little
Go
bit?
ahead.
I don't want to
Preach.
You like really going in, so I don't want to like.
She was cooking.
Yeah, you was like you spit some bars right there.
Yeah.
But what I want to say, the thing about Shae that really attracted me to her, when she came to Will, she brought her clientele there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
there were so many men, and they weren't just any man. Like, they had money. You know, they had businesses. They even helped me.
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off,
No, you're
but
fine.
a lot of the girls think that they want to go after the flashy men. They want to go off after the niggas that got jewelry, this
ball
and that.
players
And it's
and
just
that.
like, you know how I came up?
Yeah.
I went after the men that was silent, the men that didn't look like shit, the men
Right.
that was just in there just to have a good time.
Unassuming.
All these,
Yeah.
a lot of the times, most of the times, these guys, they just want a conversation. You know, so girls, they'll come into Explicit and they'll think, oh, he's by himself. He don't got on this. He don't got on that. He don't even do this. He don't even do that. And I'm like, those are the niggas you need to be talking to, you know? So it's not, again, we live in a fucked up generation where
backwards.
people think that that's what you have to go after. And it's just like, nah, like you have to, it's all up here. It's all up here.
Yeah, she brought a lot of quality, like,
Yeah.
and just like she said, like, these men, they weren't flashy, but they were quality men. Like, even I respect them, you know what I'm saying? And normally you think if a woman is bringing a man around, oh, she's messing with all of them. She wasn't messing with any of them, but she kept it at a certain level.
You don't gotta fuck to do any of that shit. You don't. That's
Right.
a lot of things. Like girls will be like, "Oh, well, Shae, how do you this guy wants to do," and it's just like, bro, like you gotta.
You actually have those kind of conversations with the girls?
Like you gotta.
She does.
Yeah,
I see her have one-on-ones, like, and that's what people don't see about Shae. I don't mean to interject, but
This is news to me.
she a lot of people don't see it because she don't. You know, some people do stuff for show. Shae does it because she cares.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of like the sucky part about it is that like she gives so much and sometimes she gives so little
Yeah.
in return. But the thing about her that I feel like she encompasses the most is like when she was really like putting in this time and this work and this effort, like it was done so organically.
Yeah.
I think she got it from like when she came up. Shae has been like she used to always have more male friends than she had more female.
Absolutely.
So she just knew how to be around niggas and like be cool.
Absolutely.
So I think that translated into her on a professional level.
Yep.
Like not feeling like you got to sleep with every nigga who like you, you know?
Yeah.
So she just learned how to like create an environment around her that eventually turned into her support system because everywhere she went, guess what? They came. I'll never forget it was one of her people. He said, "Hey man, you need more lighting in here." He gave me some lighting for free because he owned a production company.
Yep.
Wow.
And she used to fly out and go all kind of places. She was doing all this person's production.
Yep.
So like she was like valuable to these people, but she set a certain boundary
Yep.
where it was respectable and they respected her even more and they did more for her because, you know, she didn't just, you know what I'm saying, like put out like everybody else just, oh, he
Yeah.
likes me. Let me, you know, this,
You
that.
have to be classy. You have to have morals about yourself. You have to, again, like you can't. It's all.
You have to
up
have a
here.
standard.
It's all up here, and if you even have that, mentality where you think that, because a lot of girls too, they think that a lot of pretty girls, they think that every nigga is supposed to trick off or every nigga's, and it's just like, bro, like you gotta know how to like, in a sense. First of all, you have to know how to like read the situation. You have to know like what you have to understand the type of nigga that you're dealing with. Like I've always had, I don't know how, that's just who I am. I always, before I even meet a nigga or before I even start talking to a nigga, I can look at a nigga and I can tell, okay, he's this type of nigga. I know exactly what to do with him. I know exactly how to play this.
Right.
But it's like bitches these days, they just be so like gun ho. They just be so ditzy. And it's just like, you don't know how to make the best out of the situation because at the end of the day, all women want out of a man, all real women want out of a man is security.
Right.
Right? At a young age, you can have fun. You can, do this, do that. But if you're on a mindset where you still have like such a little girl mindset, none of that shit is gonna fly. You have to know how to. First of all, you have to know who you are as a woman. You have to know your values. You have to know your morals. You have to know what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate, and then it goes from there.
Pause. That was like a
Yeah,
bar. No, I just want you to pause. So, like, people need to,
Yeah.
like you're saying a lot of quality stuff. So, like,
Yeah.
they need to sink in a little bit.
just girls. They don't know. Like Will said, I had a lot of male friends. All of my friends were males because I resonate. I could be in the hood. I could hang out with 20 males and I could resonate with them. I never really had like a lot of females around me. I always naturally just grew to males because that's just what I was. Yeah, I got a bad rap for that. Yeah, I got a bad reputation for that. But that's just who I was. Like, I just always clicked with more males. And I think that was kind of a struggle with us when we had first met. And I was telling Will, like, I naturally click with males. I don't know what it is. Like, I just do. So I understand males a lot deeper than a lot of people. And yeah, if females just know, you just gotta know like I said earlier, you gotta know your qualities, you gotta know your morals, and you gotta know what you will do and what you won't do. If you're out here doing like sleazy shit, and I'm not saying like, oh, like you're not gonna have situations, you're not gonna have this situation going on and it be a one and done. That's gonna naturally happen, but if you are out here and you're trying to figure it out and you're trying to you're wondering why like niggas look at you in a certain type of way, it's because you don't got it up here. You're walking around with a little girl mentality, and you ain't never really had a real nigga. You don't really understand the depths of how guys think. So
let me ask a follow-up question, because you're cooking right now.
Yeah,
she cooking with it. She got a lot of wisdom with this. Now, I hear a lot of arguments online or whatever, right? I think in terms of like females and or women or whatever, and that kind of attitude and perspective, two things I hear. Number one are social media gets blamed a lot, right? Inflated expectations. But the other side of it is, right, and from your understanding, like, males and how they operate, a lot of people say that just men are just different, right? The men are different.
Right.
Right? Like, people talk about this generation of men you had to complain about all the time, but what do you think? Or it could be both.
Okay,
what are your thoughts?
Repeat the question again.
So the two arguments I hear all the time for why women act this way, some of the things you talked about, feel like guys have to check off or whatever.
Is social media?
Yeah. Do you think like it's social media
Absolutely.
or just how guys behave?
Again, we go back to that mentality. You got a lot of young girls turn 21 every day. You have a lot of girls looking at social media, comparing their lives to what other people are doing. Social media plays a huge part in everything. That's the generation we live in today. Social media is literally everything. So, you have girls that have never even been introduced. This game that we're, especially with our industry, this is a dirty game. Like, this is a dirty game.
Yeah.
And yes, social media will mind fuck you. But again, we go back to who you are, your mentality, who you stand on as a woman. So absolutely, girls get caught up into, oh shit, that nigga, he just bought her a Birkin bag. What the fuck I got to go out here to do get up? And it's like, you really don't have to do all that. It's that social media. So social media definitely plays a huge part into all of that. I do hear a lot of people say there's no good men left. There's plenty of good men left in this world. There's plenty of good men left in this world. It just goes back into your mentality, your morals, your quality, and what you will allow and what you're gonna do. What you're gonna do. So
can you?
I have to use the bathroom.
Yeah, let's take a. I was gonna say let's take a bathroom break. All right, everybody, we're back. So, Shay, you was cooking up some serious shit in the kitchen. We're going to shift gears a little bit. So, Will, let's go to you. Tell us a little bit about your history, your upbringing, your background. You say you're from Pontiac, right? So I learned that at the event. Pretty Girls with Girls, but we're at Dallas. So tell us about your background.
What up, though? I was born in Pontiac, Michigan. Humble beginnings. Everything when we grew up in Pontiac, it was like poverty. BMF was real. I actually was living in that whole era. And we grew up, have 4 brothers. 4 brothers or 5? I'm 5, yes. 5 boys, 1 girl. So we like the true epitome of like the struggle. We was in the ghetto, and then both parents, and we, it was like some weekends was great. We everything's good. Some weekends it was pork and beans and rice, and we was living off food stamps. So, but our parents, I feel like they raised us right. We were raised in the church. Like my dad used to actually clean the church. He was the song leader, and I'll never forget. We used to clean the church, and it would be like funerals, and the casket would be in there. Oh, man. I'm like, I ain't cleaning in there. But the crazy thing is, like, being raised in the church, it's like we almost are like. It's almost like it teaches you to rebel, because it's like the church ones be like the worst ones, like the pastor's daughter, she's like the worst one, you know what I'm saying? So that's really real. I feel like we were raised in the church, and I don't think I really realized like how much I absorbed that until I got older. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents used to be in the church learning verses and stuff like that. And then I got older, I could quote any verse in the Bible. So it's weird to me, you know what I'm saying? But what I realized is that my whole life, like everything has been spiritually led. So grew up in Michigan, and we struggled in Michigan. Like, so when I go back, that's what I think about. I think about struggle, and like we really seen people getting killed, doors getting kicked in, like dead bodies. My sister, like she was really in the streets. Like she was really in the streets. Like she epitomized like everything you see, like in like the drug and everything. Like the crazy thing is with BMF and all that stuff, like it's glamorized. Right. But we was living there, and it was nothing pretty about like what you saw. It was like, I was telling somebody the other day, I was talking to somebody, and I said, it's almost like it traumatizes you. Because it traumatizes you, but it helps you, because like Shae will tell you, I don't have fear of like any situation. Right. You know what I'm saying? She'll tell you, like, we can be in any situation. It'd be guns involved, whatever. I don't have any fear. And I think it's because of like how I was brought up and what I was surrounded by. And I have like a survival mode that kicks in. So yeah, I might be a square, but I'm crazy. Like I'll pop off. Like she'll tell you, like she's seen I have another side to me that it's a protect mode. Anybody around me, if you ever around me, I tell people this all the time. I was telling Amanda tonight, shout out to Amanda, our HR, what's up, man? Man, what's up? Birthday tomorrow, we going up. Birthday. We going up tomorrow. But nah, for real, like when people are around me, I'm a natural protector. Like I'm not like, I don't care about being hard. I don't care about nothing. It's just what I was raised in. So like it's in me. It's like who I am. It's not like what I'm trying to do. So I don't have to like project hard. Like I'm really like that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like if something go down, Shae will tell you, it's been many situations. Like I take action. Like I don't have fear of another man. I don't care if you have a gun. I don't care if you have a knife. I don't care if you're the hardest thug in the world. If it's me and you going down. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that pedigree like built me for like what I was gonna go through in life, even now that I wasn't really even prepared for. So coming from Michigan, it was a struggle. So we moved to Tennessee for a little bit. My dad's been working for General Motors 50 years. Shout out to my dad. Like he literally started at the plant. I don't know if you watch BMF, they started selling drugs through the plant. So he actually was like a part of that whole cycle or whatever. And then we lived in Tennessee for a little bit. And that's kind of like when our family started like kind of doing better. So we went to high school there. It was a sports town, Columbia, Tennessee. So C-Town. Shout out to Columbia, Tennessee. Mule Day. You ever heard of that?
Nah.
Yeah, Mule Day or that. But it was a true. You ever seen Friday Night Lights? That's what it was. Like I'm telling you, like we was like superstars.
What's the big city that's close to?
Nashville.
Nashville. Okay.
Nashville, Franklin, Tennessee.
I heard Nashville's lit.
Nashville going crazy right now. Yeah. So I'm telling you, like we was really. I feel like I told Shae this all the time. I feel like I had the best like high school life out of anybody. I played all sports. I was like, if you ever knew the coolest dude in school, like I was him. Like I had all the girls. I played all the sports. I was good. We played. Our teams were actually good. Like we won state. We was going to state championships.
Did you play
football, basketball, baseball. I was good at everything.
Yeah. You know, positions.
So I played center field at baseball. So basketball, I played like the shooting guard, and football, I played the fullback, obviously, because I'm a wide dude. And then sometimes I would play both. I would play fullback and I would play linebacker. So I was like I could play offense and defense. So it was like
middle or outside.
Middle, yeah.
Middle. I was outside.
Outside,
strong side.
Look, I used to be that guy. So I was kind of good at everything. So naturally, I was like, my only goal was just to be like a professional athlete. Because Shae will tell you, even being with me now, like I used to have that swag. Everybody like, who you play for? When she first met, she was like, "Well, why do people ask you that?" I'm like, it's just a swag, I don't know, but I just knew I was gonna make it professionally. And when that didn't happen, I really didn't even have a plan B. I had an injury and,
college.
Oh yeah, college? So I had college. I had like a lot of colleges looking, but once I had injuries and stuff like that, like I just had to settle for what I could. So I ended up going to University of Texas at Arlington, and that's where I kind of started. And then I finished.
That's the Longhorns, right?
No.
Okay.
I'll be playing like it is. I'm like, I was with Vince.
That's the one in Austin, right? UT Austin's Longhorns, right?
Austin's Longhorn. Arlington is like probably 2 hours from Austin.
Okay.
But I definitely used to play it like it was the real. Bro, straight capping, like, yep, University of Texas. They be like, who you play with? And me and Shae be like Googling people like him. But now, like, I got my bachelor's and then I continued to my master's. And I gotta give a shout out to my mentor. He helped me. I used to work summer jobs, and so I was like literally going in trucks, shirt off, and it was a line that came in the truck, and unloading these 53-foot trailers, throwing the stuff on there, and then I'm like this is a dream job. This is a workout, and I'm getting paid for it. So I'll never forget. Like I used to sit at the tables and stuff with like all the Hispanics. I don't know why I naturally had why they embraced me the way they did. They thought I was funny. So they were like, man, you this guy's funny, man. We like Will. Everybody like Will. Like Will is that dude. So my name was going around. And then this black guy comes. He got his shirt tucked in, like clean cut. I'm like, who is this dude? They was like, oh, his name is Tommy Hill. He runs everything. I'm like, wait, a black man running a whole facility? Like, I've never seen this before. I've only seen white people in this position. So I'll never forget. He said, man, I hear your name a lot. Like, what's your plan? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm here trying to get my education, trying to pay for school. I was like, I had a scholarship my first few years, but I got to pay for, I don't know what my next move is. He said, well, if you start your master's degree program, I have an opportunity coming up here. It requires a master's, but if you're in lieu of getting your master's, I can help you in that trajectory. So I enrolled in school within a week. And I'll never forget, the job had tuition reimbursement.
Nice.
Man, if y'all don't know how important tuition reimbursement, you can ball up tuition reimbursement. Full tuition reimbursement. And I was getting like Pell Grants and stuff like that.
This is the corporate job you was at?
This is the corporate job I was at. So I was think about this. I'm in a hot warehouse, no shirt on, lifting trailers. Like, I'm in shape because think about it, like, I'm thinking about like I'm finna try for football, like walk on. Right. But he introduced me to like, hey, he told me, he said, hey, this job I can get you can make over 100,000. I was like, wait, because think about it, I'm making like $20 an hour.
What year is this?
Man, it was when $20 an hour was like $50 an hour. Shit. So it was in the
this is like 04 probably.
Yeah, it was in that era. So he says like 100,000. I'm like, wait. Started from the bottom, now we're here like 100,000. That's a lot of money, So he told me that, and my trajectory immediately changed because I'm thinking professional athlete. Yeah. But keep in mind, like I tell Shay this story all the time. I had a lot of friends who went pro, especially in football and stuff like that, and they crashed out. Like a lot of them, I tell the story a lot. I said a lot of them got rich just to die. Yeah. Like they got money and then they did stupid shit or whatever, and like they didn't last. So I'm like, maybe this is like a slower path for me. But 100,000, like that sounded like $1 million contract to me at the time. So he said, like, hey, Will, I got this position, and I'm gonna show you. This dude took me in his office every day and showed me how to run a 1 million square foot facility. Yeah. So I felt like I had the cheat code. He
was getting put on.
Man, I was like, man. So I got the job. Of course, I killed it. Yeah. Got the 6 figure. I went on to finish my master's, and opportunity came in. I'm in Texas at the time. Opportunity came in North Carolina, and he said, "Hey, Will, I hate to lose you, but you could double what you're making and you can get bonuses if you move to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and we'll pay for your relocation. I said, what is relocation? He was like, we'll pay for everything. You don't have to pay for nothing for a year. So I said, wait, I get to get paid, I get money to move, and I don't have to pay for nothing for a year. He said, yeah, you get temporary housing. They'll help you with your closing costs, everything. That one, and I had to interview for the job. So at the time, I'm like mad young. I'm like
How old are you at this time?
I'm like in my 20s. I'm mature. So it kind of reminds me even like of how Shae is. Like I never used to tell people like my age because I was like, I was mature. You know, when I talk very articulate. You know what I'm saying? So I knew how to like put on that. Like I ain't gonna say it was a front, but you know how it is when somebody calls you like, "Hello, sir, how
Code
you doing?"
switch.
Yeah, I know how to switch it up. Like I can be in the hood, I know how to talk to you, but in corporate, I can speak the language.
Right.
So I was very like compatible. So here's the way it happened. So I had to. He said, "Will, I can't guarantee that job in North Carolina. You're gonna be one of 5.
Yep.
One of 5 people to interview." So I'm like, one of 5, like I got this. He was like, nah, like some of them guys are 30-year guys. Like they've been here 30, 40 years. He was like, I'm like 24, 25. So at the time, I'm actually like telling them I'm older. So because I don't want, if I'm like, okay. Because I don't want them, if they see I'm so young, they're not gonna give me a chance because they're gonna look at me like, oh, you one of the staff or whatever. So I never forgot I went to interview, and at the time, like Shae said, I was a square man. I ain't never had drinks in my life. So the guy, like, he set it up to where like we went to, I don't know if you heard of Angus Barn. It's in Raleigh. It's still going to this day. Angus Barn is like a big deal.
Yeah.
I ain't never ate no fancy food like that in my life. So the guy, I'm thinking we finna do an interview. He said, no, Will, we're gonna interview tomorrow. Come out to eat to dinner tonight. And he got me drunk on purpose. Like I never drunk or whatever. So like I was tore up. I'm trying to answer this guy questions, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise because like it kind of helped me let my guard down. But the guy name was Bob Kinchellis. He was like the director of operations or whatever, but he was doing a hire. He was like, why should I pick you over guys who've been at this facility for 30 years? It was guys who've been there for 30 years. And I'm like, I'm the only guy who can come in there who's done what everybody else has done. And I'm going to make sure, like, not only did I get the job done, but I'm going to actually be hands-on and get it done. You know what I'm saying? I said, none of, all these other guys, like, they're just going to give you what you already got. They can't bring a fresh perspective. You need new energy in this place. They've been here and you're seeing the same thing.
Yep.
I'm coming here and I'm going to bring you something different. And these guys need something that's relatable. And at the time, it was about 60 employees. About 45 of those employees were black.
Right. Yeah.
So immediately when I walked in, yo, what's up, bro? They see me walk in. They're like, oh, one of us. Like everybody dapping me up, whatever. Like, oh, you the new guy, whatever.
They didn't know you was the boss.
I was relatable. And they didn't even know I was the boss yet. So long story short, I got called back for a second interview, third interview. Then they told me it was me and one other guy. And long story short, obviously I got it. And when I got it, like, I literally like cried like I just signed an NBA deal. Because for me it was like, to be real, I tell Shae this story all the time. Like it changed my life because first of all, like think of what I said. I came from Pontiac, Michigan. We on food stamps. Like I'm thinking $100,000 is the glass ceiling, and I've doubled that. Now I'm getting bonuses, and I get to travel for free. And Shae will tell you like the perks was just as good as the money. Like they gave us so many perks with the job. So long story short, I went in there immediately impacted. I went in there, I said goals. I was out on the floor working with the guys. And all the other managers hated me because they were all like older white guys. I'm the only black guy in there. I'm young with it. And I'm pulling up on Navigator on 28 TV. I'm nigga real. I'm taking, look, I'm treating, and I'm a nigga who ain't never had no money.
Right. And you're treating everybody with respect too. Yeah. I
bought the whole warehouse lunch. No, they said in the history of all the place, nobody's. So I gained their respect, and the white guys hated me for that because they were like, "How can this new guy come in here? And who do you think you are, making us look bad?" I'm like, "This is just who I am." I used to be that guy in there doing the trailers. You know the craziest thing? I knew how to do everybody's job, and I always tell Shae that if you want to know how to be a great owner, learn how to do everybody's job.
Yep.
I see you be back there trying to bartend.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
I come from bartending.
Yeah, I'm talking about him.
No, I have my bartender license. You might not even know that.
I had to
From
teach
where?
you. I had to teach
But
you how to bartend.
but she taught me how to really bartend. But we used to have back in
He
when I had.
texted me last week. How do you make a green tea?
Yeah.
shot?
No, I thought I knew how to bartend until I met Shay.
Yeah.
But I used to take the classes through, like ABC used to come on site and they would give us like classes. You know what I'm saying? And then I used to just take like private classes, but you could take classes and they'll give you like a
Out
little
in Durham,
license.
they used to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They give you like a little license. So
Yeah.
I used to always tell Shay, look, I got my ABC license. But I rose to the top like super, super fast in corporate. And I ended up going from a manager to a director to a VP in under 3 years.
Yes.
Under 3 years, I was a VP. So
Nice.
I'm telling you, like, you know, the crazy thing when I did that, I'm thinking like that was like the greatest thing. But when I tell Shay the story all the time, I'm like, when I got there, I'm like, it wasn't like what I expected it. Really, because like when you're in corporate, when you're making all this money, like you get taxed like crazy.
Yeah.
So you're making all this money, but like half of it's going to the government. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, like I'm making all, and then you get bonuses. I will never forget this story. My very first bonus.
Tax the hell out of it.
My boss was like, Will, so this is funny because shows like you got to humble yourself a little bit. I showed Shay the story the other day, but he's like, Will, did you do the thing with your taxes? I'm like, yeah, I did it. I didn't even know what he was talking about. And when I got the bonus, it was like 30,000, but it took like 17,000. So it was like only 13. I'm like, Bob, like what happened? He was like, Well, I thought you said you did it. I was like, I didn't know what you were talking about. I just didn't want to look. I didn't want to look dumb. And then I never forget every year after that, I did what he told me to do.
What was it?
It's a way you change your deductions to where like you don't get any taxes taken out of your bonuses.
Nice.
If you don't change it, then they'll take like half of it or more. And at the time, I didn't even have kids, so I was like, they was taxing me to death. So I was making so much money, but they was taking so much money.
Right.
And that's why I was like, I need to really start thinking about entrepreneurship because I need some write-offs. Because it was so funny that my mentor, we used to go to these nice restaurants all the time. I'm like, why do everybody know your name? Why do you'll be in line? He always get us to the front. He ended up telling me like a year later, he's like, Will, all those restaurants I took you to, I owned them. I'm like, hold on. I said, how do you own restaurants and you come to work and this and that? He was like, Will, when you're good, your money can make money while you're making money.
Yeah.
And I never forgot that. And so I'm like, okay, I got into like doing some daycare stuff. I'm not gonna talk about that. That was that went good, but it was something that was done that I feel like I learned a lot. So I was doing that, but then that really wasn't my passion. That was somebody else's passion.
Right.
So I'll never forget, I was watching Oprah and she was like, find your passion, find your purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what happened after that? I went to DC. I went to this spot called Club Love.
Oh, I love Love.
You see, you
Are
know
they
about that?
still open?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Park at 14th, I think,
Okay.
or it's the same ownership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. Shay
I
know
was
the
back in
story
the
already.
day.
Let me tell you. You want to know the reason? The moment I knew I wanted to open the lounge, we went in that spot, and it was, I'll never forget this. It was like yesterday. Deshaun Stevenson, Lil Bow Wow. It was like all the NBA guys was in there. John Wall, all these guys, right? And so,
What year is this?
man, I don't even know. But you know what year it was?
Yeah.
It was the year of Barack Obama's inauguration.
The first one?
So
The first one.
09.
The first time we had a black president.
09. The first time
It
we
was
had
that
black
weekend.
people?
09, yep.
So-
His inauguration was 09. He was like the 08.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So this was in DC,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
Let me tell y'all something. Like,
I know what's up.
I never seen nothing like this in my life. Jay-Z and Beyonce was in the club. All these big celebrities, right? But it was this one street nigga. He was white. He bought every section in the club bottles. And his bill was like $280,000. And thinking like, this is 09.
What?
This is 09, like when money ain't like that. That's like $1 million to
You
me.
know what's crazy? I went to Club Love that summer. 09.
For real.
Wow.
I did. Yep.
Wow.
I did. I swear to God I did. Yep. Keep going though.
It was the best experience ever. So when it cleared, I guess the payment cleared. I don't know how he paid it. It cleared. They did some magical fireworks show or whatever. They was like, yo, they announced they stopped all the music. so and so boy over here, and they shine a light on him. He just bought 200. Every section gets about, and we had a section tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro. Then Jay-Z, he bought out everything too. So, but they put the memory on a guy that nobody knew.
Right.
But I guess he was a street dude. That moment, I thought about the money that was made that night. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm opening the lounge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the moment I knew I was going to open the lounge. And I'm like, I went to work from then on.
Right.
And my goal was like, I want something like this. And I used to always tell Shay, I want something where somebody's going to come by my bar and spend that type of money with me.
Right.
You know, that was my goal because I'm like, man, I used to love going out. I used to fly my brothers out to Miami just for weekends. Mm-hmm. Like, I was the brother that had all the money.
Right.
That used to buy the penthouses and, you know, Escalades for the weekend. Yeah. And just, like, have fun. So, like, I used to love going out. And I used to love, like, the experience. But I was looking at Raleigh-Durham. I'm like, nothing is here.
Right.
It was like a ghost town. And the stuff that was there was, like, so ratchet. Mm-hmm. So when I opened Wheels, that was crazy because, like, I got robbed. I told Shay the story all the time. I had so much money when I opened Wheels. Mm-hmm. I did everything wrong. I got robbed blind. Yeah. I almost went dead broke opening Wheels because...
What were some of the things you messed up on? What were some of your mistakes?
Man, I was cocky. I was flashy. I was a nigga with money. Like, I had a lot of cars. Think about it. Like, I'm making... Okay. I had a lot of cars. I had a lot of money. I used to wear suits. I used to wear suits to work every day. So when I pulled up, I done got this building. Yeah. And most of the people who I pull up to the building, like, I made every mistake you can make in opening a business. You never want to be too flashy because, like, people are going to put their price based on, like, how you project yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Facts.
They're not going to price you based on, like, what the actual job is. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you pulling up in $100,000 car. That suit look like it's about $2,000. You fresh, you clean. The guy, I'll never forget, it was a plumbing guy. I paid him a deposit and I never saw him again. I never saw the contract.
He didn't do the work?
Didn't do the he only thing he did was showed up to get the check. And I never saw him again. I got robbed blind during my build out phase. And I told Shay this story all the time. Like, it was a huge learning experience because it humbled me. Mm-hmm. Bro, I was not humble when I came in this game. Think about it, I'm a black man with money and I ain't never had money. Yeah. Right. So I'm very cocky. I got a lot of cars. They all fixed up. I got
frivolous a little bit.
Yeah, like, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I think the biggest mistake I made is that, like, I thought it was embarrassing or I thought I had something to prove when people act like I didn't have it.
Right.
You know? Because so the guy would be like, 60,000. I'd be like, oh, that's it? Okay, no problem. I wouldn't even, like, just because I wanted them to feel like I had it. When really I should have been like, okay, what does this 60,000 cover? Yeah. I wasn't doing the business. I was more worried about, like, how people perceive me. And I got robbed. Like, every bit of money I had, and I was way up. Mm-hmm. Man, they took everything from me. Damn. I had a company who came in and did a job. They faked everything. They had a fake license, fake everything. They built up walls. They went and bought stuff and everything. And I'll never forget when they didn't show up no more. I'm like, hey, why you guys didn't show up? Number changed, everything. Couldn't get in touch with them. And I called the building inspector. I said, hey, I had this company out. They did everything. Can you come over and inspect everything? He said, man, I'm sorry to tell you. Everything that they built, you got to take all this down. Damn. They scammed you. They don't have all the license they gave you was fake. The company they were playing like they were this company, but they weren't really this company. So it was like a whole front they put on to just rob you. Damn. And I didn't even know how to receive that. So every wall that they built, every material that I bought had to be torn. I had to start all over again. They even had cut the concrete, brought machines in, poured concrete, picked it up, had to get all that done over again. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, like,
how much? How many hundreds? We love to talk numbers on the show.
Nah, it was about $500,000 I lost. And you couldn't tell me, like, nothing because I was up. Yeah. I was up. Damn. And they took about $500,000 from me.
That's up. If you lost $500,000 and you don't miss it, maybe you do miss it.
I missed it. I missed it. It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. And I thought I was actually like, you know, doing everything right. Right. But really, I was new to the game. So
I'm guessing this is before you had your extra pair of eyes.
Yeah, she heard this story like a million times. But But if she would have been there,
this wouldn't happen if you was with him, right?
No, none of this.
Hell no.
But really, your losses turn into your lessons because, like, now I'm like the GOAT. Everybody be like, Will, how you know how to do this? I'm like, man, I lost. You know, your biggest losses are your biggest lessons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest losses taught me, like, man, so I might have lost 500, but that 500 probably made me another 3 or 4 million. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta give to get. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, people not willing to give up that comfort. Think about it, like, man, I gave up. I had a steady everything. My accounts was built up very well. You know what I'm saying? But I had to give up something to get to something greater. And the lesson I learned in that is invaluable. I can't even put a price on that.
Yeah.
Because of the knowledge. It's like you going to school. Like, yeah, it sucks to pay that, to pay that, what is it called? Student loans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you learn, and you can keep, some of the stuff don't really matter. Because some of the stuff in school, you be like, when am I going to use this equation in real life?
Right.
Yeah.
But no, some of the fundamentals are really real, you know. I just heard something beep.
Yeah,
We got to
camera.
wrap it up.
Nah. We could keep recording.
Okay.
But we can keep with the audio, just no video. But it is what it is, man. Hey, we're gonna keep it rolling. But that's awesome, man. I mean, that's a really inspiring story. So your first foray into nightlife was really from an entrepreneurial side. You didn't really have like any kind of work experience like Shay had, like working, bartending, and all that.
No, I didn't have. That's where I felt like the offset came. Like she had.
Right.
You know what? The crazy thing is, I did have experience because when I was younger, I used to work in restaurants.
Okay.
Not nightlife,
bit,
but
yeah.
I was like a server at restaurants in my little city for part-time jobs. So I did have
Not to
somewhat
the
of a
capacity where I was doing though.
No, nowhere near. But I'm just trying to say I was working in restaurants and I did.
Yeah, I feel like Will has honestly paid it forward because I feel like where it took him 4 years to get, by the time he met me, it took me less than a year.
Wow.
Less than a year. So
Yeah, I crawled so she could walk.
yeah.
Seriously though, because like she skipped a lot, but I feel like it was a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, like everything comes back around like some way, some form. So I feel like with her, like it was some stuff I was trying to help her avoid, but it was some stuff that we went through together that was unavoidable.
Yeah.
Because like she used to always tell me these stories about like, and I used to see it, how like, because she like everywhere we go, people tell Shay she's beautiful. It'll be old white women, hey ma'am, you are so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I've never seen so much like hate toward a female as I seen like she gets. And she's like, if people get to know her, they be like, why would I hate somebody like this? Right. But it's just based on a perception of like, I guess, people that look like her.
Right.
And she used to tell me about it, and I'm like, okay, Shay, like whatever, But I've actually seen it, so I know it's real. So I've experienced like just hate for not just for even like her accomplishments, how qualified she is. Like, and again, people don't know what they don't see. Like she puts in like a crazy amount of work, but they will judge her based on her perception for they judge her based on like her reality of like she has like the thing that if you say, Will, what's the thing that attracted you to Shay the most? She has a beautiful heart. Man, I can tell you so many stories where this woman like I'll never forget, like she just does stuff and you like, man, like, why did you do that?
That comes from my dad. My dad has a.
Her dad, he's shout out to Tyrone. That's my guy. He has a beautiful heart too. Yeah. But I gotta tell y'all the story. It was one time we were driving home and this girl flipped her car like 20 times in a row. She was drunk, a bottle of liquor on her car.
Yeah.
Do you know this woman like went and helped that girl?
Wow.
Brought her to. I'm like, why you got this drunk girl in our back seat? She was like, Will, she's gonna get a DUI. I'm like, what made you do that? She helped this girl avoid a DUI ticket. She's an owner.
Okay, she flipped her car 20 times and got out.
Yeah.
I helped pull her out of her car. Nibbles was out and everything. I'm like, girl, pull your shit up. But she helped this girl. She would have, if Shay didn't help her,
Could have gone to jail.
she would have went to jail that night. Yeah.
Probably
Shay,
did some time,
Shay was like, no,
man.
she's good. She told the girl what to say, coached her, gave her water, brought her in the car, and somebody came and picked her up, and she just got to go home like normal. But if Shay was not there for her, she would have got a DUI. She probably would still be locked up in jail because the bottle was empty and it was right there.
But I told her stop drinking.
Stop drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Stop
she just
drinking.
does things like that, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So you had a couple, endeavors out in Raleigh, Durham. Tell us about how y'all came to founding Explicit and getting that started up. Coming to Charlotte with all that.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a journey. Most people don't know. We were actually remember I was in the process of getting ready to go out to Atlanta, and at the time Will was like, "Nah, don't fuck with Atlanta. Like you should go to Charlotte. It's their last CIAA. The last CIAA was
All Star too. Remember?
Was it All Star?
Well, both.
All
No,
Star.
Oh, yeah.
both of
All
them.
This is like 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 2017,
So
2018.
we actually got the building in 2018, but prior to that, like I said, I was getting ready to go out to Atlanta, and I was really set on that decision because I had already put in the work to getting certifications because it's different. North Carolina and getting certified in Georgia, they have different requirements.
Talking about bartending?
Yeah, just with
Yeah.
everything, they have different requirements and
Yep.
stuff. Very similar, but kind of different. So Will was like, nah, like you shouldn't go out to Atlanta. You should take advantage of the last CIAA All-Star in Charlotte. So, I followed his lead on that.
And y'all in Raleigh, Durham at the time?
We were in Raleigh, Durham
Okay.
at the time. And we were actually driving back and forth from Charlotte to Raleigh for about 8 to 10 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
After you opened up Explicit?
No, this was
No,
before.
before.
This was
We were
before.
scouting our
Just
location.
We were
looking at- okay.
scouting, yeah. So we would literally we would drive back and forth to Charlotte, to Raleigh, Durham, just to scout out what was going on in Charlotte. And at the time, this was back in mid 2018, there was not a lot of nightlife places to go. And this was when Flow was open.
Flow.
This was
Oh yeah, it was. It's where the
who owned Flow? Was it I forget who owned it.
I don't know, but it was over there
It was
where
off of University.
Ice Bar is now.
It was no Harold's. It was where
Harold's.
Harold's.
Is. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
over
It's
that
where
shopping
Harold's.
center.
Yeah, this is when Flow was really, really popping. So Flow had just closed down, and that was actually one of the first.
Isn't it the
buildings.
same exact building as Harold's in now, or just the same area?
It's literally maybe 2 buildings over.
Okay, yeah.
So we looked there, and we were traveling, like I said, back and forth to Raleigh, Durham every single night throughout the week, just scoping out Charlotte nightlife. There was not a lot of places open at all whatsoever. I remember Crave
Yeah,
Dessert
I love
Bar.
That was our spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Still.
still open. I remember Flow was open, but they had just shut down. And really, that's about it. That's about it. So,
But we were going to the music factory too. So Club One was open at the
Club
time.
One was open at
Right.
the time.
So we was popping that.
So one night we had drove into the music factory, and I'm like, damn, look at all this foot traffic. They
Yep.
have the Fillmore was still there.
Wet Willie's.
Wet Willie's was there. Underground was still there. I'm like, look at all this foot traffic. So we had went into this place called Rocks.
Yeah.
Jazz
I
Bar.
remember Rocks Jazz Bar.
Yeah, Rocks Jazz Bar.
I went in there once or twice when it was open, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had went in there one night. We sat at a little high top table. We were just chilling, drinking or whatever. And one thing that I noticed was their operations, because that's a area where I excel in is operations and staff development. I was telling Will, I'm like, man, this is a nice vibe, but their operations is just fucked up.
Shay
I was
was
like,
they're not gonna be here
I
for
was
that
like,
long.
Will, I said,
Yeah.
I give them 30 days.
That was crazy. too.
I said, Will,
That
I
she said
give
that.
them 30 days and they're not going to be here. Just based off of what
we saw.
what I saw.
And this is in 2018 or 2019?
This was mid 2018. So,
I went in there in 2017.
yep, 2018. I was like, Will, they're not going to be here for much longer, you know. And then I remembered kind of to backtrack when we had looked at Flow. I was like, we want it, we want this spot,
she
we
wanted
want it.
that
I
spot
want
so
it,
bad.
but whenever we were talking to the ownership, they were mad fucking racist. They were really particular on certain how they wanted to operate.
Because they had a bad experience. I think it just came off like a shooting or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
Yeah,
It was acting weird.
But I was so stuck on like I want this place. Like this is, and think about it. Like we're about to be in 2025, and thinking about okay, like what if we really would have went to university area? Yeah, university area is nice, up and coming. But I'm just thinking about everything full circle. So back to rocks. I was like, look, I give them 30 days. They're not going to last. I swear to God, I kid you not.
10 days later.
The next
fucking day.
The next day
we got a call on it.
Next fucking day, we got a call from our realtor. Shout out to Roosevelt. St. Louis.
Shout out Roosevelt.
St. Louis property.
St. Louis properties.
Y'all had a realtor that was already working, like looking at
That
properties.
was already
Yeah,
working.
we-
How did we meet Roosevelt? I forget.
Somebody introduced us to him.
Okay,
They said
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like the top guy in
Yeah.
Charlotte.
The next fucking day, he called us and he said,
I need y'all to get to Charlotte ASAP.
Mind you, we had just left we had left Rocks at when they closed
On
at
Sunday.
2:00 in the morning. We had just
Sunday.
got back to Raleigh. He was like, I have a place. It hasn't hit the market yet. I need you guys to come check it out like today. And I'm telling Will, I'm like, we just got back from Charlotte like at 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. I'm like, no, like we can't do it. He was like, not like you guys need to come. Like it's not on the market. It's in a really good area. So, everything looks different in the night versus the day. You can't really tell.
Wait, so when he told you this, did he tell you that it was rocks, or did he tell you?
No,
Not yet.
he didn't
Oh,
tell us.
shit.
He didn't
Not
tell
yet.
us. He didn't tell us. He didn't tell us. He just sent us the address.
Oh my God.
And I'm on edge. I'm like, no, like we're tired. Like we literally just came from Charlotte like a couple
The night
hours
before.
ago. So was like, fuck it, let's just go. And we put in the address. So we're driving down. And again, like we can't. Things look different in the night and the day. So we get down there. And I'm like, okay, like this is a nice little area, whatever. And then we go in, and I'm like,
Oh shit.
Will, we were
just here.
last night,
you wanna-
hours ago.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's crazy because I was like, I love the sound system.
Yeah.
It was like, remember I told you, I'm like, man, this sound
Yes.
system is like, I was like, they had a live band tonight because they used to have live band.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, the sound system is.
Yep.
I said, this is the perfect size place. Like, I'm just thinking like this is the space, but I'm like, of course we can't have the space.
Yep.
So we come back and we see like this is the space, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm like, Will, we were just here. And then finally I got confirmation. I'm like, Rocks Bar, do they own? Yeah, and we saw the sign. And then I'm like, we want it. I'm like, we want it. This is where we need to be.
it
We
just
want
felt
it.
right.
And then, we were, of course, we said we wanted it at the time. We were trying to figure out, okay, we don't live in Charlotte. We live in Raleigh, Durham. Like, we don't have any residents out here.
Right.
And we just kind of made it for what we made it in. When we signed the lease, shit, we were living in hotels, the Spectrum Center across from.
She skipped a lot. Like,
man.
here's the
What?
thing. Here's the thing. They told us that we had, all right, so we went to go see it and we said we want it. Mm-hmm. They said there were 3 other people in line
Oh yeah.
that we had to compete for. So we had to interview for the spot. And so we're like, okay, what's up? You got to come back tomorrow.
Did I meet Ken?
Yeah, Ken's still with us. Yeah.
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 He's
We
still
met
with us.
him.
Yeah.
We say still with us. What do you mean?
Like he's still property management.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
okay.
they sold to somebody else. So
Yeah.
he's
So back then it was Fiber,
Yeah.
now it's Brookfield.
Brookfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they got bought, but they kept him on. So
As a manager.
Yes.
yeah. So he was one of the first people
We love
met,
Ken.
and he was so cool.
Yeah.
He was really one of the reasons like that
moved
we
into
moved
the
in,
space, yeah.
and then we got to meet Noah the next day because we had an interview with Noah, and he sold to the other place. But Noah's like, man, when I say super cool, like he was a big part of the reason we moved because
Yeah.
he really
Noah's one of the partners.
he was like the owner of
the
everything.
owner.
Well, his dad Rick started it, but I think he was running
He
everything.
passed it down.
Yeah, he passed it down to him.
Yeah.
So.
About rocks.
No, like the whole music factory.
whole music
yeah,
factory.
yeah,
Yeah, so we had the interview with him.
Okay.
So he at the time he was the whole owner, and Ken was just the guy who showed us like he just showed us the whole property and made us like showed us like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what it is, and I just liked his vibe. His vibe was like super cool. He was super like helpful. And I'm like, I was telling Shay the whole time, I'm like, man, this is a dope vibe. He just sold us on it. Ken sold us.
Yeah.
So when we met with Noah, we had to interview him the next day. So we're like, man, we got to come back again.
Yeah.
So we came back the next day. Were you in that meeting?
Yeah.
So it was me and Shay were in that meeting, and Shay says I was like nervous the whole time. You could hear it in my voice, but I think it was because like people like built. He was super cool.
Yeah.
But you know how people can build somebody up like so big, it's like it makes it intimidating.
Yep.
And I'm normally like a great presenter, but Shay said I sounded nervous the whole time because I was like, I think it was because she was there. I knew how much she wanted it, and I didn't want to let her down. But I feel like if it was just me, I would have just like been normal.
Yeah.
But it's like now you got you and another person. It's like, oh shit. Now I might have been like trembling the whole time, but I knew everything I said was on point.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I don't know why I couldn't shake the nervousness.
Yeah.
It was weird, but that just lets you know like he loved it.
Yeah, we presented our business plan, and I think it was.
And see, I'm good at stuff like that.
Yeah, less than a week, we found out that we got the
We
space.
got selected.
Yeah, we got selected out of other people.
Other people.
And I cleared out my account, and then that's it. It went from there on in.
Like I don't even know. Yeah, it's crazy because like it's like a whirlwind. I don't even know.
And then I remember, so I was so on edge because I'm such a like perfectionist, and whenever we first opened, we didn't put a lot into the space like at all whatsoever. And I knew
Sounds like renovations and
yes,
stuff.
so as far as renovations,
because we wanted to get open by All Star,
which was in February, like
2019.
Yeah, was like February, March, that time frame, and we was like, fuck it, like we just need to get open, da da da. So we were so fortunate enough to get like all of our permits, all of our ABC license in time for CIAA. And then I remember we had like all these promoters, all these people that wanted to come rent out the space.
It was so funny.
We were setting up meetings and shit. And then whenever we had them come in, these niggas was coming in with like bandos. Like,
no, it's crazy. Shay, you gotta tell the story right.
Okay.
Like, babe, tell the story right. Like the thing is, no, she gotta like really give this.
Okay,
justice.
so we had custom.
We had people flying in for meetings.
So we
because this is All Star. This is All Star. So
Just like by a section or?
no, to
like,
rent out the space
here-
to do an
doing that.
event.
So
Yeah.
Shay put up a post on the page. And
Tag your hottest.
she said,
like,
tag your hottest promoter. We're going to be open for All Star. And all the biggest venues were already booked. Like QC Social was booked. All these places were booked. So we were like just opening and they were like, oh shit, another venue. And think about it, we're in the Music Factory. All the venues in the Music Factory have been booked.
Yep. Epicenter was all booked out.
Everything was booked.
Yep.
So we flag ourselves, right? We had people flying in from New York, Atlanta, DC, California,
Celebrity
sponsorships, everything. Every celebrity thing and event you could imagine. Me and Shay had set up a table on the stage.
Right.
We were sitting up there. We probably had about 10 or 15 people from out of state. And we said, hey, if you want it, bring cash. And everybody was lined up.
like,
It was a bidding war.
We're coming from Raleigh Durham market.
Right.
So we're like, okay, our projections are like here, right? Our projections are here.
Tell them how we call other venues and saw what they were charging. And that's
Yeah,
how
our projections are here. But whenever we got to Charlotte, people were offering this.
All right. Let's be specific. Numbers.
Let me talk numbers because Shay shy.
Yeah.
All right, so we thinking like initially this is funny
To
because
rent
it's
out the
laughable.
venue.
We were thinking like 5,000, like 4,000. So we called around, right? And a lot of these venues were charging like 20,000, like 50,000.
Damn.
Like, oh shit. So we started our bidding war at 10,000.
Yeah, because we're coming from Raleigh Durham.
Right.
Raleigh
That's
Durham
the
is like
market,
5,000
yeah.
is like $1 million.
Yeah. So then we had niggas coming in there with
10
blue
racks.
faces. I said, "Oh, welcome to Charlotte, baby."
So
We
think
made
about
the
this.
right
We haven't even opened for business.
Yeah.
So I will never forget, and this moment was so special because it was just me and her. We had met nobody in Charlotte. We wasn't in the mix yet. And I'll never forget, like, remember we went to like a Bank of America ATM.
Woo.
And we didn't really know like how everything was gonna pan out because like we just went all in. And I'll never forget. I'm like, man, this is confirmation. This is the right decision. And every night for All Star, we was packed out. Celebrities, everybody, and it was crazy because Club One was like the spot. I mean, it was like that was like the epitome.
Yeah.
But we got so much like level up off of their situation.
Yeah.
Because like people, it would be nice where it really wasn't popping there. And we were the new spot. So, you get that new beneficial,
right.
Where everybody comes to your spot. And like they was flooding over from there to our spot.
Yeah.
Well, Willie's, they were flooding over from there to our spot. So our spot was like during All-Star that year, I don't think people was talking about losses because they overly invested, but we were new to the game. So we underinvested.
Right.
And so we won so big off All-Star. Like that was our like just being 100% transparent. That was our like true come up. That was our grand opening.
It was.
We hadn't even opened yet, Stephon.
We scaled.
We hadn't even opened yet.
Making money like crazy
before we even opened our doors.
Before we even had it laid out to perfection, like how I envisioned.
That was our grand opening, I say a lot of times.
So how much? So the All-Star weekend, did y'all rent it out to like a different party every night?
Yeah, we had day parties. It was like a
brunch, night
Thursday,
party.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were back to back every single day. It was like
So-
9 or 10 events.
Then CIAA came a week
All-Star.
later.
All-Star.
All-Star, you know what I'm saying? We went crazy All-Star, but then CIAA was like a week later.
And then what about March Madness? What's March Madness?
That was like a week later. So we didn't even prepare for March Madness. We didn't know about it, but something was in Charlotte. They were doing a tournament at Time Warner.
Yeah.
And people were like, hey, we want to come do an after party for this. So we didn't even know this stuff because
And
we're
then-
new to the city.
And then what was the thing? Who was the president that they were saying that would come in and take all of our shit out? I forgot who was the president at the time.
Yeah, it was crazy because it was like
Was it Trump?
I think it was Trump.
Yeah, it was Trump.
So he bought out the whole music factory.
Who?
Trump.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, he bought out the whole music factory. So we
For
want,
what?
I guess just he wanted to have it as his home base.
Like,
And
this is like election kind of thing, or
This was his first 4 years.
I think the year when he started going in office,
Yeah.
we won so big off that because they had all the venues come to the convention center, and every venue like won because of default. So it was just right place, right time, right situation, and we were there, and it was a bidding war, and they come in and do what they want, and they pay you whatever you tell them you want to pay.
I'm saying, like, what was he trying to use it for though?
I think they were using that as like where he did like all his events, like dinners, parties, or whatever.
Okay.
And so they just wanted to
This
make
2019, right?
Yep.
Or
it was
2020?
it was 2019, I believe.
So probably going into campaign season, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think even if they didn't use your venue, Secret Service or whatever, they wanted to have everything blocked off.
Yep.
So even if you didn't open,
they had to pay you to rent it out and block it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
man, it was whatever you want. It was like name your own price. So me and Shay are looking at each other like, man, we made it. We just like we didn't even plan for this.
Right.
It was like the blessing. I always say when the magic happens, when you take that leap of faith, sometimes like you can't plan for some of this stuff. It just happens.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when the magic happened, like for us, because, I was even more for myself. I was happy that like she got to see the side of it. Because think about it. I went through a lot of the struggle and I didn't see immediate success, but she did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for her to see that was like the beauty in the struggle. It was a blessing and a curse because we'll talk about that later. But it was a blessing and a curse because like sometimes like for her, everything came like,
Yeah.
and I think that like kind of like set a precedent of something that really wasn't reality
Yeah.
because like it made her think like it was always going to be that way.
Yeah.
Because think about like it's better to start off low and then you gradually get up high than to start up high and then you gradually go low.
And I was just so like, I
She
was
was-
just so shocked to see like think about it, like we're new to Charlotte, and I remember before we even came to Charlotte, our words were like, "We're about to take over this.
We're gonna take this shit
We're
over.
gonna take over the city." I was just so amazed by like how many people knew us before we knew anybody. When we were in like demolition doing like our renovation, it was one night. Somebody was knocking at the door. They were like knocking, and I'm like, who? Think about it. We don't know anybody in Charlotte.
New to the city.
We don't know any fucking body in Charlotte. Somebody's knocking at the door. Shay. I'm like, Will, who the fuck is at the door knocking at the door saying my goddamn name? So I opened the door. And it was this homeless guy. His name was Reggie.
Oh shit! Yeah.
His name was Reggie, and man, Reggie, I don't know where he's at today.
Shout out to Reggie.
Yeah, but he was a big part of our come up too, because he helped us do a lot with like the floors.
He
and
saw
building out.
everything.
Yep.
Shay, you got to tell the story. Like so we was living at the literally living at the Hyatt in Center City.
Yep.
They know us on a first name basis. Like we was living there
On the 7th floor.
but we would work so hard some nights. We would work like the whole night, and we would just sleep.
Yeah, think about it. We didn't have a place. Like we didn't live in
We
Charlotte.
didn't live in Charlotte, so it would be some nights I'd be like, babe, like let's not even pay to go get a hotel. And I'll never forget this night. We went to Walmart and we got like some sheets and pillows, and you know where booth 1 is?
Yeah.
That's where we were sleeping.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we slept at booth 1. And then it was so funny because one night, like somebody was knocking on the door.
It was the next morning at like 7 a.m.
It was so funny because
I was so embarrassed.
it was embarrassing. But one of the maintenance people was knocking on the door, and he was like, he came in, and then we were trying to like hide the covers and the pillows, and Shay picked up a broom and we started sweeping and acting
like we was in there
we were
working
working the whole night.
But we really were sleeping.
We really was like sleeping there because like really like think about when you live in your dream, time don't even exist.
Right.
Like sometimes we would work and we would be like, oh shit, it's 4 a.m. We gotta sleep. And we just went, I'll never forget, it's when Walmart used to be open for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
I missed those days. Yeah. And we actually went to Walmart, bought sheets and bought covers, and we slept in booth 1.
Booth 1, yep.
And it was the most like beautiful thing. I have videos and pictures I had to send to you where Shay literally is asleep. And I'm like, I ain't going to sleep. I'm finna stay. I'm going to work the whole night.
Yeah.
We would work like a full 24-hour shift. And that's what people like don't understand. Like
That's real, man.
They think we just arrived here when really like we really grinded this shit to get here.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the biggest misconception about me and her is that like people just judge us before they really get to know us. If they really get to know us, they'll see like we're just like them.
Yeah.
They'll be inspired more than they would be like hating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we live in a culture now where they wanna judge you based on everybody's like cliquey.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if they don't like you, I don't like you. They don't even want to understand like what it really is when really like our pedigree and who we are like speaks for itself.
Right.
Like it's not even a flex, it's just who we are.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like anybody who comes through us, you're gonna be better after us. I have a quote on my Instagram page. It says that you're never gonna be the same before me, and you're never gonna be the same after me. Now that's not like trying to like say or devalue you for like who you are, but it's just to say who I am to you.
Yeah.
Anything that comes to me and Shay is gonna be increased. Because like we give everything freely and we give it genuinely. But whether you like us or not, like you're better because of us.
Yeah.
Whether you don't have to give us credit. Our credit is like where you are.
Facts.
You know, like so we are an enhancer of everything because we don't have anything to gain or lose from your success. We want people to be successful. We pray for even people who don't like us.
Yeah.
We pray for our enemies.
1 second, guys. We're gonna take a quick. All right, we're back, folks. Sorry, we're up here drinking, so you know how that goes.
We vibing up here.
Break the seal and gotta keep going.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah, this
Cheers.
is cheers, man, for sure, man. This is a good
Salud.
vibe.
Thank you guys
We need
so
this
much
to go
for coming.
viral. Like, share,
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
Word, definitely subscribe.
And let's give a shout out to my boy. I mean, I know we're not supposed to pause for the cause, but Stefan, man, day one, like consistent. Like you've been doing your thing, man. Like I just want to salute you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, you might not like know your trajectory sometimes because like you might be gauging it based on other people's like expectations or whatever, right? But what you're doing, you don't even realize like sometimes you have to have people to give you perspective.
Yeah.
And the only people who can give you perspective is people who have like walked your path and done what you've done, and they can see things from a high level. So you might not see it, but you're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget, I helped somebody. I do a lot of mentorship. I mean, you know that. I kind of taught some people, help them with business plans. I help them with their career paths. I help them with everything. You know, I'm not a gatekeeper. I try to help people and show people the way. What they do with it is their business. You know what I'm saying? But I don't ever like feel like negatively impacted either way. I feel like as long as my purpose is clear, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which is my impact. My impact is my most powerful gift.
Yeah.
People might not give me credit for that, but I see the growth. I see what they're doing. So
Yeah.
I salute them. So I salute you.
Yeah, where
Because-
the nightlife industry connects. That's what Explicit is all about.
Yeah, like we're
all
about growth.
And we never want to shell or keep people that work with us. We never want to keep them hostage for 10, 12 years. We're all about instilling and leveling up those that work with us and embracing their own dreams and aspirations. So definitely shout out to you. Proud of you. And
Thank you.
Yeah, Bar Envy. Shout out to Bar
Yes.
Envy. I mean, I feel like you're doing the true epitome of what every entrepreneur should do.
Yes.
Giving yourself as many opportunities as you can to be successful.
Yeah.
That's the way out.
Yeah.
You know, like some people, you cannot just put all your chips in one bag these
Yeah.
days.
Right.
You have to have multiple opportunities and you have to invest in yourself. And when I look around, I see what you've done. I see somebody who's invested in themselves. So your value is not determined what's in your bank account. Your value is determining like who you are and what you're doing right now.
Right.
Like people don't understand the value of people. Me and this
People
woman,
rich. We call it people
I call her
rich.
people rich. Thank you, babe. Like see how she finished that sentence? That's because like she know like what I'm finna say. I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
We're people rich. Like, which means what that means is like you get your value from your relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships are more valuable than money. People judge everything based on likes, comments, and the stuff that they can see and feel, right? Or what's in their bank account.
Yep.
But really what it really is everything that comes before that. You know, like it's things that can elevate you higher than you can elevate yourself. So me being here for you shows you like who you are to me. So I wasn't gonna miss this.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
I wasn't gonna miss this for nothing because like you mean a lot to me. You might not even know that. You know what I'm saying? Because of like you showing up for me.
Yeah.
I told Shay this tonight. I'm like, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. I'm gonna show up for him.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he shows up for me.
Yeah.
It don't matter what level I'm on. That should never be understated.
Right.
As a black man, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Bro, these microphones, these headphones, like you taking this shit. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. You taking this seriously. Bro, like you already made it.
Yeah.
Don't let a dollar amount make you feel like you not him. People just they miss the blessing, bro. Like your blessing ain't in your bank account. Your blessing is in your impact.
Yeah. And you know what? I really appreciate that because I always felt like I was him. I always
say that,
knew
bro.
I was him.
Talk that,
I mean,
bro.
let me talk my shit for a little bit. Right? So
Say that, bro.
for sure, like the whole point about this podcast is I'm really trying to build a platform, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm an entrepreneur. And that was really the first thing I did in Nightlife, period, right? I don't know if you heard the story, but when I was in high school, I actually started promoting, but I started a company through it. So my 17th birthday, I was supposed to have a birthday party in my basement. It got canceled. And I was like, you know what? It was something with my family. They didn't want me to have a house party, whatever. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to flip that. And I rented my first venue. I rented out just like a little concert hall, paid the DJ and all that. Do like a big ass party. And it was crazy. And that was really my first foray into entrepreneurship. But I always felt like I was a businessman, you know. But you know, this is a podcast. It's all about nightlife. But even bigger than that, this is really like a platform that I'm building. So
Nice.
I don't know if y'all remember at the Christmas dinner at SDK, I mentioned that I was starting a technology company.
Yep, I remember that.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this podcast is really one and the same thing, right?
Nice.
Because I have an idea for technology solutions. So what I do for my day job professionally, that's what I do. I work for a consulting firm, but I work in fintech. So I work on a team. We build like mobile apps for banks and all that shit. So that's actually like what I do full time. But a lot of those skills and the lessons that I learned, I'm taking that into the things that I want to do, right?
Yeah.
So when I started this company, I really wanted to start a company that would build like software solutions, technology platforms to serve the nightlife industry.
Nice.
And originally I was like, well, how would I promote it? I was like, well, maybe I could start a podcast, right? But if you wanted to start like a technology company, that's a huge amount of investment. It takes a lot of skill.
Right.
It takes a lot of competency that I don't have. These are the things I'm learning and I'm teaching myself on the way, trying to build a team. But I was like, you know what? Don't even wait for the company. Just start the podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Start the podcast.
That's right.
Build your platform. Start building your audience, right? I asked a question at Kilo's event about building a brand community, right? I asked that question on purpose. There was a purpose behind that because this is what I'm trying to do, right? I was really trying to speak to the wider audience there because I kind of already understood, you know, how to do it, but I was really trying to just kind of put that out there to the rest of the group that was there. But this is really bigger than just a podcast. This is an entire platform that's going to bring together consumers in terms of people that go out and then producers, club owners, DJs, people that work in the industry. So definitely like keep your eye out and you'll hear about it. I swear to God, you'll hear about it. But right now I'm just kind of like doing a lot of thinking. I'm doing a lot of designing, a lot of brainstorming. You went into my office. If you saw my whiteboard,
Yes.
you saw that shit I had drawn out on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
So that's basically like a database architecture for the kind of platform that I'm trying to produce in order to serve this community. So
Right.
that's just a little 1-2 about what is really going on behind this podcast. And this is the first time I've said it
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Keep saying it.
Wow.
Keep saying
Well,
it.
let me tell you something. Shay gonna already know what I'm going to say, but like, it's a difference when you speak your dreams and your goals to just ordinary people. And there's a difference when you speak it to people who are enhancers. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
it's like when you plug yourself into something that's like not really like drawn to a power source, and then you plug yourself into something that's like a generator.
Yeah.
Like we are generators. You know what I'm saying? We really about this life. We don't just talk about it. Like we're really doing this shit every day. Like we are not your ordinary owners. You know, we do this. You know, this is not who we are. This is what we do every day, and you see it. I mean, so I don't have to explain it to you, but you know, I feel like what you're doing, like you are really taking this seriously, and to me, like that means a lot to me because, like, sometimes people think they have to invest in people as far as money, but like sometimes people they don't need your money. Sometimes people just need your time.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, this is going to be your most viewed one, and I speak that into existence not
Yes.
because of like
Appreciate that.
anything, but just because the quality of people you know and what you're connected to, you know. And we really need to do this more as a community and pour back into each other. So, like, as far as like how you presented yourself and how you have things set up, is very professional. Like, shout out to you pursuing your MBA. Like, you need to pop your shit a little bit more. I mean, like, that's not easy.
Yeah.
You have a daughter. Like, you have like a lot of excuses you can use
do.
to not be doing things.
Facts.
It's 2 a.m. right now. We up here doing this thing.
Yeah.
So I know this is about me and Shay, but I want to salute you because like you've been so loyal to us and you've been so good. And it's like sometimes we overlook the good ones because we deal so much with the bad ones. But you've been a good one, and we appreciate like what you've been to us.
Yeah.
And I'm derailing from the subject, but I just feel like I had to say this because this is why I told Shay this tonight. I said, you know, one thing I've learned in the grind is like showing up for people.
Yeah.
Because like when we've grown and we've gone through shit, it's been a lot of people we thought would show up for us. And guess what, Stefan? Nobody showed up for us. So you know what I told myself?
Yep.
I'm not going to be that guy who don't show up for people.
Yeah.
You know, even for Kilo, even shout out to Kilo, like she's doing her fucking thing. Like I mentor her.
Shout out to Kilo. She's gonna come do a podcast with me too. So
man, shout out to Kilo. Like that's my homie. Like, and that's what people think. Like a male and a female can't coexist without something being messy. Like I really fuck with her because like I just see so much potential in her and other people, and I see so much potential in you. So like I'm gonna show up for people who show up for me.
Yeah.
And I really value that, and I feel like what you're doing, everything you're doing right now, bro, let me just tell you, just keep the path, man.
Yeah.
Because like it ain't all dictated in numbers all the time. It's dictated in consistency.
Yeah.
I tell Shay this all the time, like I celebrate my wins the same way I celebrate my losses.
Yeah.
You might notice, like sometimes you're there, like it don't be nobody in the venue. We turning up like never before. We staying after we go in the Waffle House. We not tripping over the losses.
Yeah.
It's a part of the game. Like so for us, like we celebrate our wins, like we celebrate our losses. When you get to that level, you made it.
Yeah.
Before it shows up in your bank account, don't look for the win in your bank account.
Yeah.
Because it ain't about that. You know, it's about you finishing the race.
Yep.
And this is chess, not checkers.
Yep.
So it's about like strategically, you know, like just maneuvering and making it through where you need to make it through to get to where you need to get to. And what you're doing, and you don't even really see it yet. And I can tell you this because I'm giving you perspective. So like when I'm telling you, it's coming from a real place. You're creating so many opportunities for yourself to be successful that all it takes is one. All it takes is one of those things getting through.
Yep.
And you made it.
Yeah.
And then the money's gonna show up. You can be like, oh shit, like this is what it is. So like if we did this more for our community, we would have more winners than we would have haters. It's so many hate on hate, and you don't even know what you're hating for. You just hating on this person because what somebody else said. That person, what I learned is, especially in our community, is like sometimes people will tell you something because they know that situation will benefit you more than it benefited them. So they'll hate on that person because they know if you in that position, you're gonna elevate from it. And they'll hate on that person just so you won't even like deal with them. And we gotta get out of that. And I wanna rebuke that spirit in Charlotte.
In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus and everything, because like it's going on in this community and it's a bunch of foolery. Y'all gotta break that chain because like, man, let me tell y'all something, man. When you put out good is gonna be produced from it. This woman right here, she got a good heart. I got a good heart. But like, sometimes like people know that and they'll try to like sabotage and make it what it is. But like, I feel like it's so much more that we can do for each other in this community that if we just like kill that shit, everybody will come up. There's more collaboration at the top than hate. It's so much collaboration that can be done. Like these words coming out of my mouth, I'm not like capping. Like I'm really living this shit. Like I wouldn't, man. I'm not gonna pop my shit, but I'm gonna pop my shit.
Pop your shit. Go ahead.
Can I pop my shit?
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
I got real shit going on, like where I'm figuring shit out from a certain level. You know what I'm saying? And transactions where, let me tell you, Stefan, I tried to put people in position, and all these people burn me, bro. They burn me so bad, right? But let me tell you the blessing in that. I still came out on top.
Right.
$1 million transactions where they wrote me off. You listen to the streets, you hear every negative narrative you can hear.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something, Stefan. The reality of the situation is I'm winning.
Yeah.
I just ain't broadcasting the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If I base my blessings on the world's validation, then I'm nothing.
Yep.
But if I base it on like what he think of me up here,
Right.
I'm everything.
That's right.
So if people want to try to make you less than what you are, that's they foolery. But look at any situation I've touched.
Right.
any individual I touch, look at where they were before me and look at where they were after me. That tells it for what it is.
Facts.
It cannot be denied.
Facts.
I'm just being serious. Like, look at where somebody started before me and look at where they started after me.
Facts.
Yep.
Value, it isn't in what you say, it's what you do.
Facts.
I'm an enhancer of everything. And we are I feel like, you know, the bad thing about the black race is like we are the only race who, like, we kill our kings and queens.
Yeah.
Like we belittle our kings and queens. Like people can't even go back to their own hoods without being in fear of being like demolished from their own community that they tried to build.
It's a shame. It's terrible.
We got to kill that narrative, and I feel like the time is now, and I'm gonna speak on that. But I'm really proud of the fact that like nothing can take away from like what we produce, because like what you produce is what you produce, and regardless of whether the situation works out good or bad, I still like I have love for everybody who I've been in contact with, no matter how they feel about me. I have a certain love for like everything I've touched. So it's like regardless of that, like I feel like, you know, it's good that needs to be. We need to kill the negative narrative, especially within the black community, because like we got to start getting better, and we got to start working together.
Yeah.
We got to like stop like this hate, this narrative, like especially like even from like me and Shay say, think about how much black ownership is in like Charlotte right now.
Yeah.
Like why are we not doing a monthly meeting with all the black owners in Charlotte? Why do it got to be competitiveness? Yeah. I love going out to support. Like you say, I love going out to support other black venues. I don't have any ill will toward anybody who's going through what I'm going through. We could probably learn more for each other through collaboration than we could through competition.
Facts.
Because guess what? Like, at the end of the day, we're all the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So that's actually a perfect segue. I wanted to get into next, like, what's y'all relationship with like other venue owners here in the city, particularly in Charlotte? How's that been for y'all since y'all opened up? And talk on the competition too, because one thing I want to bring up, and Shay, I've heard Shay say this like so many times. You talk about the competition certain nights. I'm not going to name names in terms of venues, but they do things like $100 bottles of Terramana, and you've made comments about how they sort of watered down the market.
Yeah.
You wanna wrap on that a little bit?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
As far as our relationship with other venue owners in Charlotte, I feel like me and Will are the type of people where we don't really go out as much. We really don't have any like it's like a good thing and a bad thing, because Charlotte is very cliquish. Charlotte likes to see the club owners at other clubs. Me and Will don't really move like that. Is that something that we can probably improve? Probably so. But I'm really not pressed to go out because I'm in this shit.
Right.
Like I'm in the shit. So, you know, people say, "Oh, Shay, let's go here, let's go there." I'm like, nah, like I want to chill because I'm in the shit. Like I see this shit for myself. Like if I'm going out, it's every once in the blue moon, and maybe for, you know, a close friend's birthday or whatever. But other than that, like you're not going to catch me out every weekend doing shit because I'm in the shit myself. Is that something that I've learned because that's how Charlotte is? It's very cliquish. Absolutely. People tell me and Will all the time, like, if y'all pop out more, if y'all go here, y'all go there, like, it's about showing love. I get it. That's facts. But that's just, you know, that's just not how I move. If I go out, I want to go out of town. You know, I want to go somewhere where I don't see people that I see. I don't want to go out and see people that I see on a regular basis. I want to be introduced to new people. That's just how I move. That's just how I think.
Right.
So as far as our relationships with, you know, other business owners, I would just say that it's super just middle line. You know, I mean, it's nothing more, nothing less. It's no beef. It's, you know, it's all love, especially with Black entrepreneurship. I wish nothing but the best to all of the Black entrepreneurship, club owners, venue owners in Charlotte, North Carolina, because that's what I would want people to do for me.
Right.
I don't want nobody hating on me or talking bad on me. I want nothing but the best for people, you know, in my lane. But like I said, is that something that me and Will can work on? Absolutely. But for me as a person, man, I'm working. So anytime that I can get rest, anytime that I can get chill and be at a peace of mind. I remember when we first moved out here, we used to stay in Uptown. And I would tell Will, like, I'm tired of living in Uptown. I want to be on the outskirts where, like, I can be at a peace of mind, because that's what, in all of this, you have to have, you know, you have to take care of yourself. You have to have some type of self-care, you know, mentality, to where whenever you're not in the shit, whenever you go from home, you want to be at peace. So, you know, with our other business relationships with any other owners, venue owners, super cordial, nothing more, nothing less.
I feel like it could be better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, the crazy thing is, like, actually at the event that I spoke at, you know, I got to meet like different owners of Imperial, other places like that. I didn't even know it was black owned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I felt like that was a great opportunity. And like I tell Shay, like, sometimes, you know, even though like our off days and stuff like that, we do like to kind of just like either A, be out of town, or B, just be out of the way. Like, you know, I said, hey, we do need to learn, you know, we do need to try to like collaborate more, because like it's a lot of stereotypes that could be out there. You know, even when I spoke at Kilo's event, it was it was people who didn't know who I was. They probably only knew me from like what they heard about
What
me.
other people say.
And so it was like an immediate wall being built up.
Yep.
But by the time we got to the end of the event, we was high-fiving, you know, because they're like, wait, you just like me. You like, you go through the same, how do you cope? And it's like, we're the same people, you know, at the end of the day. But sometimes like, it's like things that are being put in between us by, you know, irrelevant situations, irrelevant people who want to see division because they benefit from that.
Yeah.
But if we're aligned and we're collaborative, you know, it's like we really control the market.
Yeah.
We have the control. We don't even know it, you know, and and they can relate to me, but until they hear me speak, they don't even know that. So even, you know, when I left that event and I was talking to Shay, I said, hey, like, you know, that's an opportunity. There's some things we need to work on. Like,
Yeah.
I do want to be more aligned with like a lot of the owners in Charlotte. Like, I would like to kick it with them. We probably could help each other so much. And I feel like me and this woman have like so much game and knowledge and experience. Like, we could probably help these people.
Yeah, they could help us
And they
too.
could probably help
Yeah.
us by being more relatable to the new whatever, like, we don't know.
Right.
So it's like mutually beneficial. So I feel like for us, like, we have to be more open. But I'm really proud of like how many black owners I see in Charlotte. Some of the black owners, like, we actually used to work with. They were actually promoters for us.
Yeah.
My boy Mike and Genius
Yes.
with Eden. Like, I'm so
Right,
proud.
yeah.
Like, I'm so proud of them.
Yes.
Like, and it's crazy. I was hollering at Mike one night and we just like shared like a crazy embrace. Like, he got emotional, but he was like, Will, that's all I wanted to hear you say.
Yeah.
Think about that, man. Like, it was never no bad blood, but like, he just wanted to hear me say I was proud of him. Because think about it, we had a 5-year promoter-owner relationship. Now he's the owner. So like, I really am proud to think about that, man. Like, they graduated to where they are where like we are, and they're starting out. And that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a confirmation that you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like, I've really been working on relationships. And I've learned like so much, like from not everything I did right, but some of the stuff that it got done wrong. You know, because like they was like, Will, like all we wanted was just you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't want like nothing special. We just wanted your time.
Yeah.
And that really cut me, but it taught me like something. But like, I can look at them and we can grow from that situation. And even from them being in ownership, I'm like, hey, we finna celebrate somebody's birthday. I want to book a section with y'all.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like, you can build from that. So like,
Yeah.
if I can come with that humble spirit and we can support each other, man, there's so much power in the black dollar right now.
Man.
It's like crazy for us to be going against each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we prey more on people's downfall than we do on their success, when really their success is our success.
Yep.
We have a shared success there. Like, if we work together, like everybody can win. We don't have to step on somebody to win. And I'm really trying to I'm really learning. You know, I'm not trying to say I know it all. I'm learning how to be a better leader, because what I'm learning is a lot of people look up to me.
Right.
But I have to make sure that I'm being a fit leader and I'm leading properly. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking to my word and I'm doing things I need to do, because I'm not perfect, but at the same day, at the same effect, I'm human.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're looking at me, like I told Shay, I can fall down 9 times, but I'm gonna get up 10.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna get this shit right.
Facts.
And I told Shay when we first moved to Charlotte, I was like, we're gonna take over the city. And we did.
Yeah.
We conquered it. But the thing is, the way you conquer things is not just on your own. You conquer it by helping other people.
Other people, yeah.
You help other people. You show them the way. Success leaves clues. So we are just as good as the people who are coming up behind us, because a lot of the people who are owners now,
Right.
they used to actually be our customers. You know what I'm saying? So to be a trendsetter, to be all these things, it's a great thing.
It's important.
But I want to really show people that we can all have. It's enough. You guys all know this. I don't have to say this. It's enough for all of us to go around out here.
And we don't have to water down the market either. I feel like in Charlotte,
that's a good point.
I feel like people, I get it. I get it, because we're living in hard times right now. You know, we're dealing with inflation. We have to do what we have to do. But for me, I would love to see, especially our community, getting back to the basics of what true nightlife experience is. When you go to Miami, when you go to LA, when you go to Vegas, true nightlife experience is going out and it's really flexing. It's really spinning a bag.
Right.
That's VIP. Very important person. Nightlife and VIP experience is for people that you can get an experience and you can feel special that no one else can do. Right. So think about it. Think about the people at the top of the food chain, Jay-Z, Future, all of our celebrity status, whenever they're going out to the clubs and they're doing VIP status. If the average Joe like me, because I'm still trying to get to the top yet. If I can get that same VIP treatment that Future, DJ Khaled, fucking Jay-Z gets, then what makes it special?
Right.
What makes it special about nightlife? And I feel like when you say, yes, the market has been watered down, is because I feel like we're settling. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We need to get back to the basics of what true nightlife means. What, given that experience, anywhere you go, you stay at a hotel. It's like staying at the fucking
like the Ritz-Carlton or something.
Ramada Inn, the Motel 5 versus you staying at the Grand Bohemian.
Right.
That's just like the Grand Bohemian lowering down their standards to saying to stay at the Grand Bohemian, it's $50 a night. Then guess what you're going to attract? We have to get back to the real meaning of what true nightlife experience is about. And that's honestly what I would love to see in Charlotte, for us getting back to that. And I get it. You have to do things to do it, to get people in. But that's just where I come from. I was raised and built on what true VIP, what true nightlife experience was. And it wasn't settling, because we don't have to settle. There's enough to go around for everybody. So we don't have to do these things all the time. We need to get back to the basics of what true nightlife is, because at the end of the day, that's what feeds us. That's what feeds the people that works for us. That's what feeds every single body that we have around. So yeah, for me, like I said, I get it. We have to do what we have to do because we have to take into the consideration at the times that we're living in now. It's expensive now. It's hella inflation, but we don't have to do that.
Just think of this like one thing. If this is the one thing that comes to my mind. Think about Steak 48 doing $1 lamb chops. I'm just being serious. Like, just think about if they did that, like how that would lower the market value of who they say they are. And I feel like we as a Black community, like we should raise the bar, not lower it.
Absolutely.
And if I could do one thing as the leader, I would say like know who you are and know what your power is. Like you don't have to like sell yourself short or listen to other people to tell you what your value is. Like you should know what you are what you say you are.
Yeah.
And I think like that's like the biggest thing in our community is that we so quick to do that, but like we should be slow to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's from a lack of like leadership and guidance and collaboration.
Yeah.
If there was more unity, if there's more togetherness at the top, it wouldn't be so easy for things to be lowered to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It would be more of a resistance because like we're aligned and we have a standard for like what we say we are, and we're not gonna go below this.
Us as Black, people have to remember, like us as Black people and being in the Black community, people already look at us from the bottom.
Yeah,
that's where people already look at us.
They're like, look what these niggas over here doing.
Yeah, that people already
niggas
look
doing
at
some
us.
more nigga shit.
Yeah, people already look at us like that, and that's not. Black people are the most powerful
we're so much
people.
better than that.
Yeah, they're the most powerful people ever. Ever.
Agreed.
And we just have to get to the basic. We have to get back to the basics on who we are as a culture, what we stand on, and knowing that we don't have to. We're not living in those times anymore. We don't have to devalue ourselves. We don't. If us as Black people come together the same as other people do, we will be just as strong, even more strong. So
let me play devil's advocate just a little bit, right? I mean, I totally agree with you in terms of like the watering down, the market and everything. But if it's like a Wednesday on a slow night, typically people aren't coming out. Can you really blame a venue for trying to like pop a deal like that, like $100 bottles of Terramana come during a Wednesday when there's slow traffic?
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
No, I we go back to definitely having to do. You have to know your market. You have to know, the days of that's going to draw the traction in. I definitely get that, and I'm not against that. People have to do what they have to do to get people in the doors.
I disagree with that.
No, let me finish. But
Go ahead, Shay.
caught me so off guard.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I feel like there's ways that there's different of that's you.
But let me say something.
Okay.
This might help her. I disagree with that because like as business owners, like we know like what the margins are. So as business owners, we like I know a lamb chop costs more than $1.
Right.
I know that to open that night, you got to pay. You got to think about light bills. You got to think about staff. You got to think about overhead. You got to think about cost of what it takes to make that lamb chop. So when people are doing that, it's like a misperception of like what the reality is.
Right.
And it just, I feel like I'd rather for you to close that night than open that night. And maybe those lamb chops are going bad, so they're gonna be worth nothing. So it's better to sell them for $1 than like lose. So I do get it, but what I'm trying to say is like if there's collaboration and there's like knowledge behind that, by you doing that, you're gonna hurt 100 businesses over here that are selling lamb chops for $30.
Right.
If they knew that, they probably would be like, okay, now I'm not gonna do that because that's gonna hurt 30 other businesses.
Right.
That's where I feel like the disconnect is with collaboration.
Yeah.
You know, what if I told them like, hey, there's a program that will buy your stuff from you and you could make money off that without even opening your business? They might be like, okay, well, I didn't know that if it weren't for you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's not enough like unity to even be informed properly informed. It's just a perception thing. You will never see Steak 48 do $1 lamb chops.
Right.
Yeah.
Or buy one, get one free. So it's like we have to have a standard and we have to be unified. There's power in numbers and there's power in agreement.
Yeah.
If we have an agreement as an ownership, like as a black ownership, we're gonna have a standard, then it'll never go below that.
Yep.
It'll just be like that's what it is. But I feel like that's like the missing piece right now. Is that there's a huge disconnect and everybody's just kind of like, it's like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
And what I know from this market, because we've done it long enough, is that like, they say one bad monkey don't stop the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like Shay said, like, if they look at all of us the same, that's the bad thing. We're only judged by the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at the best of the best. They judge us based on who's doing it the worst.
Right.
I mean, we know this from how they come at us.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's real. And people don't want to, like, really acknowledge what's real out here. They look at every black business as the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, like, they run up in our shit. Every black owner can tell you, and they'll name off names, and they want us to tell on each other.
Right.
Who gonna really speak on that? I'm speaking on this podcast. What's really going on out here?
Yeah.
They want us to tell on each other and down each other. So, like, we have to
Do better.
I don't even gotta like you. But because you look like me, I love you.
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
Facts.
Man, that's real, man. Pause on that. Man.
Yeah.
Make sure you spin that block on that.
For sure, man.
Like, you like that?
Yeah. That's good.
So make sure you like it.
So something else that I admire about y'all, and we kind of talked about it a little bit already, right, is how y'all relate to the staff. And something that I always thought was fascinating is how y'all run y'all meetings. Right, when we have the staff meetings, y'all do a great job.
Shay.
I was gonna say, so Shay, that's you. Like, y'all come up with like a great program. Me and the coworkers, we talk a lot. We kind of joke and say, you ready for another pep talk? But y'all definitely have like, a lot of like the speeches, a lot of like the kind of the uplifting kind of like pep talks. But then you also handle business. So, 2 questions: how do y'all like? Who kind of quarterbacks the meeting situation, and like maybe just a little bit of thoughts about y'all philosophy when it comes to like managing and relating to staff?
That's all me, baby.
I
I excel in staff development, only because, again, I was in those same positions. And I knew when I was bartending, serving, doing hookah or whatever, I knew how I wanted to be treated. I knew how I wanted people to talk to me. I knew how... I knew what it would take for the person that's in a quote unquote upper title than me. I knew what it would take from them to be able to tell me something and I would be able to easily relate to. So when it comes to doing like staff meetings and the way we like put that into perspective and the way we plan that is we take a look at like what's going on with the business. We put, we can go a year, we could go 3 months, we can go 6 months without having a staff meeting. And what me and Will do is we go back and we look at, okay, over the past 3 months, over the past 6 months, over the past year, these are the main things that we saw that we need from our staff that can benefit from.
Right.
So all we go in and do is we just kind of put that into correlation with what we need from you guys and, just going from there. And then I know I do like these little corny games or whatever. I think they're good games.
I love the games.
Yeah, but all that is those are just things that I've learned. Again, I was never the type that I never liked being micromanaged.
Right.
I hate being micromanaged. I don't like when people like repeatedly tell me something to do, because you could just tell me something to do one time and then I know how to do it. again, for everybody, that's not the same. Some people do need reminders and stuff like that. And then I've dealt with certain situations where I've had managers who were very rude to me. They belittled me. They criticized me in a bad way, because I'm very good at taking constructive criticism. But I just kind of correlate to like how I want to be treated, and how I want people to talk to me. So that's why I'm so big on like always being respectful. I'm big on learning how to not micromanage, but in a sense, making sure that staff are set up and they know like my expectations that I need for the business to excel. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't take any of the credit for like the staff stuff. Shae just like, she has a gift for that. You know, they say some stuff is talent, some stuff is a gift. Like that's just a gift. And I thought I was good at staff meetings until I met her. Like she just always does these dumbass games, but somehow, some way, everybody loves the games.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like every staff meeting we do, it comes away with like such a powerful like momentum. And I told her this like after we did a couple staff meetings. I'm like, it seems like every staff meeting we have, we come away and we just like mass produce. Like everybody's like so infectious and everybody's so motivated, and it just creates like a good energy.
Yeah, the staff meetings are not about what I want, like just for myself. The staff meetings are about what I want. They're most importantly about like what I want from you guys, you know, for my staff to instill within their self. So everything that it's literally everything that I was taught and everything that I was giving, I'm just spilling it back, because I would want that same thing for me. So everything that I've learned, I'm just pouring it right back into you guys. Like, damn, like I wish I had somebody to do this. I wish I had somebody to do that. So yeah, that's just what the staff meetings are about. It's literally just taking everything that I was blessed with, or everything that I wish that somebody would have instilled in me at the time. I'm just doing it to you guys.
And it's so encouraging, like hearing people's stories on. I'm just being like so serious right now. Like, it's people who have told us like, I was able to buy my first house because I work for you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I was able to do this because of you guys. Man, do you know, like, we're so much in the grind. It's like that we don't unintentionally think about that. But it means so much more when people share their stories with us on like how this opportunity of a business that we just shared to do a business changed their lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's so much more than just like what meets the eye. It's like people think that success is like how much money you make. Success is really like your impact. Our impact is so strong and so powerful. And it was crazy because one time I was going back and forth with Shae. I was like, she didn't want to do the staff meeting. I'm like, we haven't done a staff meeting in like a year. I'm like, I'm doing a staff meeting. And I did it for that reason, that she motivated me to do it for her. Even sometimes like when she's not able to be there, like I'm going to do this because I see the result of it. Like the connection between like us and the people, and like how much it connects. And it's like, the beauty of it is, it doesn't matter if it's like 40, 50 people there or whether it's 5 or 6 people there.
Facts.
It's just about like the individuals who need that connection, because everybody's at a different point in their life.
Yeah.
Like you don't know, everybody know like right now life is life, and people are really, I'm just being serious, like people are really going through it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like so important to have that connection, because guess what? People can't talk to their family about their problems. Sometimes it's better for people to talk to complete strangers and they feel comfortable than talking to people they know and they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we create a safe space, and I can't even take credit for that. I have to give credit to Shae, because she showed me how to do this. Create a safe space for people to like really like speak their truth. It's conversations I can tell you right now where people said, we were the first person they told they had cancer.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like they didn't even tell their own family, but they felt safe enough with us. You can't buy that, man. Like it's not about clout, not about likes.
Right.
Like this is real life stuff, and I watch us make this impact every day. And that's the thing people don't know about us. Like we really care. When we say we love, we really love. when we say like even how we're here for you tonight, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Appreciate you.
I got a court date tomorrow, right? But I'm here for you because like it's real love, man.
Yeah.
Like this ain't no fake social media. Like, oh, I want to just do this for clout shit. It's here because I really want to be here and I really care. So like, that's the difference. You understand what I'm saying? Like people do stuff and they don't even like it, but they want to be there for just to be accepted or feel like, you know, hey, these people like me, but they really don't even like know what's going on. They don't really accept what's going on. And I think the difference is with us is like when it comes to staff meetings, I feel like, I mean, I'm not even going to take the credit. Shay taught me this. Like, that's like the most genuine connection we get to our people who show up for us.
Literally.
And even if they don't listen, like I feel like every staff meeting we help somebody. I feel like every staff meeting is a breakthrough. And even with some of the stuff we're coming up with, like it's going to be next level because we're like, Shay comes up with the weirdest shit. Like it's the weirdest ideas, but it'd be like the best shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like cooked up. And she has I want to like give her flowers right now. Like she has one of the most like genius mindsets I've ever seen in my life. I tell her she's my ticket. I tell her this all the time. Like I'm like, you're my ticket. Like you're my LeBron James. Because she really has like a mind that's like, it's so like far out, but I get it. And I'm like, okay, let me bring that to where like it can actually come into fruition. You know what I'm saying? Because like she thinks like her mindset is like so far beyond like what our current like market could even understand. And like people don't know how to cherish that. People sometimes only know how to abuse a good thing.
Right.
She's a good thing. Like she's good.
Right.
But some people don't know how to appreciate that.
Yeah.
Think about it, man. Dolph got killed in his own hood.
Crazy.
That was his own hood. So I feel like in a way, like she's like so much of a pure spirit, a good spirit. She really does care. And that gets abused. I watch it get abused time and time again. Yeah. But I feel like she's the breath of fresh air that's needed out here. And people are going to get it one day. Like she really is who she says she is. Like some people really are not who they say they are. So I feel like she is really like the next generation. She's everything that people want to be, but like sometimes like people don't know how to receive that. So I feel like over time, like people will see what it really is because of what she's able to produce. And I do feel like, you know, in a weird way, some people are gonna learn the hard way. They're gonna see it and it's gonna be too late because she's gonna be too far gone. Right. And they're gonna miss a huge opportunity because when they did have it, they didn't appreciate it. But when she makes it and she's like so far up, they're gonna be like, damn, like I had a chance.
It's crazy.
So people don't realize what they have till it's gone, until it's, you know, well, you know, it's a sad reality, but her truth is her truth.
Right.
And I told Shay this and she knows, I tell her this all the time. I'm like, you 101. Yeah. Like hard working, do whatever. Like she's my meal ticket. I'm not letting her go. But no, like she's the real deal. And it's like, sometimes like it could be too good to be true to where people don't really, they think it's too good to be true. But I feel like everything she has, she deserves because she worked for it. Right. You know, but like sometimes like that's shunned upon, like, oh, this, that, oh, this, oh, that, oh, that. You know, people try to make it what it's not. And can I just say this? I'm going to speak some real shit right now.
Ahead.
Can I be real right now?
Go ahead, man.
Can I be real right now?
Go ahead.
More niggas hate on this woman than females hate on this woman. I said it and I mean it. Yeah. She get more hate from like I see more, you know, they say when people like duplicate it or replicate it, it's like a flattery. Yeah. But like I see so many like wannabes. Yep. That like hate on her because she's a female. And like the sad part about that is like she should have a community of people who comfort her, but they don't. It's like hate. Yep. I don't understand that, and I never will. And I feel like that's an opportunity. Like, I'm gonna say that today. Like, we need to get better because, like, at the end of the day, we're only as good as like we are. You know, like far as like the worst case scenario. You know, but like we should uplift each other, and we should uplift people who trying to like pour into us. Like, we shouldn't like let it just be pouring in and it just goes out through the bottom. And I feel like she gives so much but gets so little in return. And I feel like we as a community, we need to support like our own.
Yep.
It don't matter if it's why does it matter if it's a female? I'm her man. And I don't mind if she makes more than me or she does more than me.
Right.
Because I'm proud of her, genuinely.
Right.
So like, why do we hate on the next? I don't understand that. So for me as a community, not just in Charlotte, but in the world, like, we need to like stop that. Because like, if this is the person who helps me bring more money to my household, who am I to tell her or cut her off or to try to tell her that she can't do something or limit her success?
Right.
People try to minimize other people to maximize themselves. And we should all be maximum. And so that's the one thing I want to see in this community. I want to see us like, somebody got to be the trendsetter. Somebody got to be the leader.
Agreed.
And she's a leader. She's a trendsetter. Some of the ideas she says, she tells me, she be like, oh, no, Will, that's crazy. I'm looking at her, I'm like, no, that's genius. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I love that.
So Shay you come up with most of like the ideas when it comes to like promotion and events and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop your shit, baby. Like, don't hold back. Pop your shit.
You said, do I come up with most of the ideas when it comes to promotion?
Man, let me say this.
Like events and
I'm
stuff,
sorry.
big events.
I'm finna cut. I'm finna
Themes,
cut.
maybe
I'm finna
themes.
cut her off. I'm finna cut her off, and I'm gonna let you talk. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
This woman is a trendsetter. Everything you see that's going on right here in Charlotte,
Yep.
I see her. So even when people who used to work for her or used to go, they venture out to other places, they look great and they look good, but it's a reflection of what she's taught them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can go, let's think about it. If she's taught you what you've learned, right? And you go to another place, they're gonna be like, wow, like you're gonna be the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, they say plagiarism.
Yeah.
It's when you take somebody else's credit for something somebody else has done.
Exactly.
This woman is like the originator of like a lot of stuff you see right now in Charlotte. You wanna know how I can tell you that?
Tell me.
Because we came here for a year straight and we literally went to all the venues and we saw what was going on in the city.
Yeah.
And what I see right now, a lot of things going on, is a reflection of this woman. So I feel like she don't pop her she don't pop her shit enough. And that's cool because I don't mind. I like her being humble. But really, like, she really don't get the credit she deserves. Because like when I see other places and I see other things, I see her.
Right.
Because she is the one who set these trends. But, you know, they say sometimes when you're humble, you get overlooked.
Right.
So she has a humble spirit, but really, I really want her to stand on her shit. Because, like, when I see a lot of shit that's going on out here, what I tell you? I'm like, that's you. That's your influence. These people came through you. They didn't know that before they met you. They might have went over here look like the superstar, but you was the coach.
Yep.
That got them to that superstar status. But they're not saying, oh, shout out to Shae for teaching me these things.
Right.
They're acting like they just learned that and they're going to these new places like they take the credit
I want
for
to
it.
give credit, yeah.
This
Thank you, Will.
right here, I call her LeBron James.
Hey.
Don't I
Thank
call you
you,
that?
Will. Yes.
No, I call you that.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's my LeBron James. And I'm not just saying this because I'm with her. I'm saying this because, like, I see when we first came to Charlotte, we said we was going to take the shit over. And a lot of the things, I see her influence everywhere. And she's humble. So she don't care about the credit, but she deserves it. You understand what I'm saying?
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will.
Oh, you got it.
Facts, yo. Appreciate that. So a couple more questions and we're going to wrap up here. I want to talk to you about like some of the partnerships you had in the past, specifically like some of the venues, because I know you had some partners over at Bose and everything.
Yeah.
You were the workers with people.
Yeah.
So like, what was that like for you? Any learning experiences, anything you would do differently if you had to do it again?
I would definitely say learning experience. Like, man, I enjoyed every experience I had for what it was worth. You know, I think the things that transpired afterwards, I don't think I could have ever predicted because like you just
What
don't
kind of things transpired?
just like the negativity behind it. You know, like you just don't expect that. Like you don't really you see the good in people. You don't see certain things until they like actually happen.
Like what
So-
kind of things? Tell us like we talk about negativity. Like give us some examples. Be candid with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I would just say like the backlash as far as like, you know, just people saying negative things about me or Shay or our establishments. And
You had that problem with your partners?
yeah, I mean, the reality of it is like when you try to, and it's funny because I was telling Shay this earlier, when you try to help people elevate and you're like the higher person
Yeah.
on the totem pole.
Yeah. You're
it's
like the
you
high
have
water
more.
mark.
Right.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have more to lose than to
Facts.
gain.
Yeah.
They have more to gain than to lose.
You look at it differently.
So you're trying to help people, and at the end of the day, like if they're not ready for that opportunity, then like it's gonna cause you more harm than good. Even if your intent is good. Like so, my intent was good because I just want to put people on and give people opportunity to make money. But if their intent is to do whatever, like it's really hard for me to like try to like make it something that it's not.
Right.
Because if I'm pure and they're not, then at the end of the day, like it's kind of like it's not going to work out to anybody's good. And sometimes, like at the end of the day, like I say this all the time, like I call it it's opportune time. So if it's an opportune time, like for everything to happen, then everybody's going to appreciate it for what it is. But if everybody's looking at you like so some people meet you at the level you're at.
Right.
And if they meet you at the level you're at, like it's not good because like they're going to expect things to come instantly. And that's not a reality because for you, it took you 10 years for them to meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
So they met me where I was at and the expectation was too high for what I could possibly deliver.
Expectations in terms of what? You talking about like distributions, money, splits? What kind of things?
So I call it entitlement.
Okay.
So it's entitlement to where like people feel like they want to be you, but they don't want to go through what you had to be to do to get to where you're at.
Right.
So they don't realize the dues I had to pay to be where I'm at.
Exactly.
So they meet me where I'm at. So I give them an opportunity, but they don't have the patience or the, or just like the whole, like, they don't want to trust the process to like see things through. They want everything like yesterday.
Yeah.
And to be realistic, like that's not reality. Because I didn't get it yesterday. It took me years to get to this.
A lot of work.
But they want what you got. They want what you got now without having to do the work you had to do to get here. And that's sad because like at the end of the day, like there's a false perception. It's like, think about it. You go watch LeBron James.
Right.
How many LeBron James can you really think about where he is, where he at? So that would be unrealistic for you to meet LeBron James and say he can make you what he is.
Right.
But because me and Shay are touchable and reachable, people will meet us, and I'm being serious about this. I'm not being funny. They'll think that they immediately should be entitled to have what we have because we're touchable. I'm across the table from you right now. Because I can see you and I can touch you. I need to be where you at like yesterday. So because I didn't do that for you, then I'm a bad person. I'm a scammer. I'm a this and I'm a that. When really,
You've been called a scammer?
I've been called every name in the book. Any name you can think about. No, I'm just being serious. I mean, any name you can think about, I've been called. Because what I tried to do is I tried to help people get in position. But the main thing they didn't have patience. They didn't have patience is a secret ingredient to success. if people don't understand there's power in the weight, I'm telling you, man, like I told you earlier in this interview, like I've seen people get rich just to die.
Yeah.
I'm just being real because they got it. If it's fast, it don't last.
Facts.
People don't understand, like they want things like yesterday. And I'm telling them, like, yo, the lesson is in the wait. Like J. Cole said, there's beauty in the struggle.
Facts.
You got to go through something to get to something.
True.
You had to give up. I say you have to give to get. But people want it like now. So they see us and they're close to us. It's just like, if you really think about it, it's just like somebody being close to like somebody who already made it. And they're rolling in the same circles. They're drinking, they're in the same environment. So they get lost in the sauce of like thinking like this is their reality.
Yeah.
When really they're living in somebody else's reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're so close to them. So we've allowed people, that's why boundaries are so important.
Right.
And this woman right here taught me that. Boundaries are important because like sometimes people can live in your reality and it's not their reality, but it creates an entitlement and an envious spirit to where since you're reachable, if me and Shay were like in Los Angeles in the hills, they wouldn't even care because they can't get close to us.
Right.
But because we're like hands-on and they can talk to us, they can roll up to us, and then they might see us on a TV screen a week later. They're like, wait, like, I should be getting some of that.
Right.
So it's like, it's a weird like dynamic to it. But I feel like the moral of the story is sometimes like when people get something and they get too close to something and you're humble, they take it as a weakness and they take advantage. And one thing I learned is, and I learned this through like read my like daily Bible scriptures. They say whenever you plant something in man or in people, it's always like planting your foundation on sand. It's going to sink.
No good.
It's never going to last. It's always going to crash and burn because you're never going to get from another person what you give.
Yeah.
The only person who's going to double down on you is God.
Yeah.
God is the only one who can enhance something greater than what you put in. But if you put your faith in man, they're going to let you down every time because they don't even know how to appreciate something that's good or pure. They only know how to abuse it. And that's the realest thing I ever read. And it's real life because I lived it. And I tell this woman every day, like, it's real. Like, it's not talking down on anybody, but it just shows to like why you have to like have a standard to how you live your life.
Yeah.
And a standard to what you allow and what you don't allow. Because if you allow a person in, they're going to take full advantage. That's all they know how to do.
Facts.
They don't know how to value. If you give a 21-year-old the keys to Lamborghini, they're going to wreck that shit.
Yeah.
Facts.
Because they can't value what they never had.
Hell yeah.
So that's how people treat me and this woman right here. It don't matter like what our intent is, how good we are to people. They're not going to value us for who we are because they ain't never had nobody like us.
Yeah.
Right.
They only know how to get what they can, to get the most what they can get and abuse the situation. So that's why it's important for us to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And for us to have guidelines to how we do business and who we work with and how we work with them. And that's the lessons we've learned through really being burned. We didn't learn this through success.
Right.
We learned this through being burned because
You got to go through those trials.
like we helped a lot of people and they didn't reciprocate that. But I will give credit. There are some who did. There are some who did. I mean, shout out to my boy who, I look at them now like they're owners. I'm super proud of them.
To my engineers, I'm making them.
I'm super proud of them, man. Like I tell them every day, so I can say it on here. Like we did have some good situations. We just had some bad people in the mix of that situation. But I'm proud of them, and it makes me value those situations more. And that's what makes me be able to even like, man, I could talk to them and I could still have productive conversations because I'm a humble spirit. If I see like there were certain things that could have been better or whatever,
right?
I'm gonna be like, man, I dropped the ball. Like I could have done better than that. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I was right, this and that. Man, I don't care about that. I care more about like the reality of the situation and what it really was, because like for some situations they were what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
They really were. Like they were good situations. And some situations, man, you know what? They were all the way like on the other side, and I can't really go in depth on that, but they were.
I got you.
But I'm thankful for the people. I'm thankful for the people in the situations that were like pure.
Yeah.
And they really did like I feel like they stood the test of time, and we did what we were supposed to do in those situations.
Absolutely.
Right.
Shae made a really good point. Now, like it's a different generation, and it's like you got to proceed with caution,
Right.
because like there's no code anymore.
Right.
There's no loyalty.
Right.
Fake love.
It's
is
fake
the
love.
new
Like that's the new norm.
Yeah.
So it's like now, like you really got like it's a different breed out here, and it's like the blind leading the blind, and all you could do is pray for them. You know what I'm saying? Because like the reality situation is like it's not anything that's pure. It's just like Shae said it perfectly. It's like a fake persona that's been created out here where everybody's like, oh, this is the thing to grow towards. And they don't even know what it is. It's just a popular thing. And it's like nothing. So I feel like the blessing in the whole situation now is I feel like it's an opportunity for us to like come together.
Yeah.
Because where they said it's chaos, it's opportunity. So I feel like the opportunity is like we have to do better. That's the main thing.
Thanks. So second to last question, sort of in the same vein, how have you dealt with promoters over the time since the beginning to the end? You talked about Ingenious, Mike and them, you had great relationships with them. But like, how are you dealing with them now as compared to when you first opened up?
To when we first opened up, I feel like it was more organic and things just kind of like naturally fell in place.
Yeah.
And it was like the perfect storm. It was like a beautiful thing, where everybody just kind of like fell in place and it worked out. We had a great run, like a 5+ year run.
Yeah.
And I feel like now, Shae said it perfectly. Like it's just no code, it's no whatever. It's just like it's different. And that's the only way I can describe it. Like it's just so different out here, and I don't really even understand it because it's like, as a person who was like, I was kind of brought into this, and I was kind of like introduced to this as like I've created and I've seen like people really become successful that we've worked together, like we have real partnerships.
Right.
But like now it's just like I feel like it's the blind leading the blind, and it's like a lot of fake love. It's a lot of fake situations. It's just like nothing is really genuine for what it should be, and I don't really like it because it's just like at the end of the day, like I feel like less is more. Like if you're in a situation and I say you throw a bunch of pennies in the air,
Right.
you're making a lot of noise, but at the end of the day, the value and the quality of it is nothing.
Right.
But if you throw a bunch of dollars, $100 in the air, it's not making no noise, but it's a lot more valuable.
Right.
I feel like the quantity is overshadowing the quality.
Yeah.
Like the whole market is watered down right now. Like there's no true leadership, there's no true guidance. It's just a free for all. Where there's no code, there's no loyalty, there's no nothing. So the difference as before, I felt like the way it was being done before is the quality did outweigh the quantity. Like it was quality events being thrown and it was real money being made and it wasn't even a lot. You wouldn't really have to see people working 4 or 5 nights a week.
Right.
It was just a couple nights a week, but they were making more than they would be making if they were open 5 days a week.
So when you say there's no code, no loyalty, expound upon that. What do you mean exactly?
I feel like that no one has like an accountability person saying like, nah, man, it ain't cool. Like
if someone steps across a red line or a bound, no one's checking them.
Yeah. I feel like in the past, like I'm gonna just be specific. Like if like you part ways with somebody, the previous code would be you wouldn't really negatively like speak on that situation to anybody.
Right.
Like you wouldn't negatively like say anything about like that establishment. It just was like everybody go their separate ways. It is what it is. But I feel like now, like people intentionally go out of their way to like step on another establishment or say negative things that may affect someone. Like, a friend, hey, I'm going over here this weekend. You tell them not to go over here. Like, why would you tell somebody not to go somewhere that they want to go? You know, I just feel like it's overstepping to like hurt somebody. You know, like where before it was just like, okay, we part ways. Everybody go their own way. You want to go over here? Yeah, no problem. You going over here? It's cool. Like I used to fuck with them,
Right.
but like you don't cut the other person off to get ahead. You play fair. There's no code to where people play fair now because everybody's like stepping on everybody. You step on somebody to get ahead. Where I feel like before, people didn't used to step on people to get ahead. Now, they're stepping on people intentionally.
Yeah.
So let me ask a direct question. Might be a little sensitive, but just to address the elephant in the room, right?
You gonna speak on this, Shay?
We're gonna speak on it. I think we know what we're talking about. So, without naming names, there was a promoter. There was some drama online. Everybody saw it. There was a whole lot of shit talking. I'm gonna give you the chance to clear the air right now. So, what was the situation, and like explain your side of the story?
My side is like, let me tell you something. Like, this is just me being like super genuine, right? Any promoter I work with, I have love for them. Like, I love them genuinely because if I'm gonna make money with you, I gotta have a certain like respect and love for you. Some of the promoters we work with, like, just being real, like I'm not like sugarcoating nothing right now. They beg for opportunities. Like whatever you can do it. And I did my part, you know. I believed in them. I gave opportunity. I did everything I said I was gonna do. And then the reality of the situation is like, you know, like again, like it's exactly what I said earlier. Sometimes like people can't appreciate something they never had. You give it like somebody keys to a Lamborghini and they never drove a Lamborghini. What are they gonna do the first time they drive it?
Wreck it.
They're gonna wreck that shit.
Yep.
So people can't value what they never had, you know. But every play, every opportunity, it's like what I said earlier. Man, like I'm telling you, like some of these plays weren't even together before they even came to us. Just being real, like they weren't even plays before they came through. I'm telling you, like, hey, Will, can we do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but let's do it. And it gave him a chance, gave him an opportunity. And what that should do, it blew up.
I feel like what happens is that behind closed doors, there's a lot of internal issues with, you know, people that we may work with. And when shit blows up and hits the fan, whenever it's time to point fingers and point the blaming game, we're the ones who get pointed at.
Yeah.
And
it's just easy, I guess.
It's the easier thing to do when people don't realize that the internal issues, because there's been a lot of internal issues that we've had before with previous people that we've worked with, and it had nothing to do with the venue. And Will has always been there. I commend Will on, because Will doesn't have to do the shit that he has to do. He doesn't have to get involved in situations because that's just not where he's at. He doesn't have to get involved, but Will's been involved in so many situations with trying to just bring peace and bring morale to the situation. And I feel like whenever, you know, people do come together, it's a lot of internal issues that people have amongst within their group. And then, like I said, when shit hits the fan, the easiest way and the easiest people to point the finger at is us or is the venue. And it's just like, nah, like these internal issues has happened previously amongst y'all.
Right.
So,
What I want to say to that is less is always more.
yeah.
Yep.
Like, if you look at any situation that started with us, like, it was less, but I promise you, like, they were doing more.
Yeah.
Any situation, like any situation, you guys, anybody I've worked with before, I made a lot of millionaires, but I'm not writing a book on it.
Right.
I could like try to take credit, but like that doesn't really benefit me because like I give my credit based on like what I can see and where you started before and where you're at now. So like that goes back as far as Will's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could call multiple people on the phone. They be like, "I made my first million with Will."
Right.
I could, but will they give me credit for that? That's a different story. But I don't really care about that.
All right. 1 second, yo.
Elisa.
All right. Yeah.
folks.
So yeah, a lot of internal issues. I feel like people that are the ones who are not in entrepreneurship don't understand like the real business behind it are always the ones who have some like the most to say. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, people are gonna, say what they want, talk shit, do what they want, but that's just
At the end of the day, like
that's just what it
the
is.
reality is, like, I mean, the way we can look at things, and this is a blessing in like our whole situation, regardless of like what they wish upon us or how they feel about us. At the end of the day, like I'm proud of anybody who came through me.
Absolutely.
Because whether they want to, think about your job resume. You know what I'm saying? Just for real. Like think about your job resume. Like
Yep.
your come up came from wherever your last opportunity was at.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even have that opportunity if it wasn't for where you went through to get to.
Because you've learned something.
You
Yeah.
learned something and you was able to put that on your resume, and you didn't have that opportunity before you worked at the previous place you worked at. So whether they want to give you credit or not, you get it by default. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't have to like say anything, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of them. Like I'm proud of anybody I work with or we work with.
That's real.
Regardless whether they wished our downfall, like you gotta think about, you gotta pray for your enemies, like people who don't like you and they don't even know why they don't like you, but they benefited from you. I'm proud of them. Anybody, it don't even matter like the people who talk
That's
down.
real shit. Yeah.
Like I'm proud of anybody who came through our venue, our establishment. I've had personal, like Shay say, like, man, I've done a lot of things to these guys, like to groom them, and personal time. I'm talking about going out to lunches and dinners and drinks and meetings on meetings on meetings and calls on calls on calls. I know I've helped them, so I don't need validation.
Right.
Some people need validation to feel like solidified.
Yeah.
You know what my validation is? Their success. So they don't have to give me anything. They can hate on me.
Right.
Fuck you, fuck Explicit. Okay, cool. Like, we don't care. Like, at the end of the day, like, where I planted my seeds, like, they've been planted on a firm foundation. So I feel like for me and this woman right here, like, we're always going to be good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm always setting us, and she's always setting us up for, like, what's the next best move. We're not ever focused on, like, what our current move is. Our next move is our best move. So, like, people are so fixed on, like, what we're doing now, but what we're fixed on is where we're going next.
Yep.
So we're already... I'm telling y'all, this is chess, not checkers. We're always a step ahead of like any competition or any haters or whatever. So we're
Friendly competition.
Yeah, like we're always a step ahead. So I feel like for everything that's going on here, we're already somewhere else.
Yeah.
So perfect segue. What's next on the horizon for Explicit? What's in your future?
Growth, like scaling. So Shay would tell you, the number one word I use is scaling. And where I learned that word from is my corporate experience, because I learned it from, I watched and studied Jeff Bezos. I watched and I studied billionaires. I watched and I'm actually friends and associates with some billionaires. I'm not going to say their names, but I know billionaires like in my phone.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something. Like when you see how they move, when you see how they work, it changes your whole logic on how you look at everything. And for me, like my life is not defined by money, but obviously money makes the world go round, and money creates opportunity. So like it's important, right? But I'm not like driven by that. I'm driven by my impact. I'm driven by what I see far as like progress and like what we go through far as experiences and what I learned. So to me, that's valuable because you probably have a lot of people who are billionaires who are buried in a cemetery right now, who have a billionaire mindset, but they don't actually know how to take those things and translate them into like actual businesses. So what me and Shae are focused on right now is diversity, like diversifying our portfolio.
Right.
So having so many things going on that people, and I'm not even gonna say them on this podcast because like you never show your hand.
Right.
We used to,
I was going to ask you to expound, but go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna expound because like, you know, and I'm it's not had anything to do with you. It has to do with what we've learned.
Right.
Like if you show people your hand, like unfortunately in our culture as African Americans, we cut people off.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's the reality. So
Yeah.
if I was to sit up here and tell you everything we was about to do, it would probably be 10 people that are listening that would try to cut this off.
Right.
So for us, what we've learned from our adversity is to not show our hand. And in the words of Kendrick, when you pop out, you got to show niggas. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes you just got to pop out. You know, so like we yeah, drop that bar. Like we gonna pop up and show niggas. You know, sometimes you just gotta show niggas, and it's really unfortunate. I want to like expound upon that because I feel like we are the only race who does that. You know what I'm saying? Like African Americans, like we are the only race who try to think about it, man. Just think about all the trends. Think about the waistband. Think about this. Not even look at a podcast. Everybody got a fucking podcast. Like it's just like we the only race who just like we just nigga shit some shit. We will nigga shit some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like we cut each other off instead of like uplifting. So like sometimes like what me and Shae have learned is we just gotta pop out. Even you know, like we didn't even let a lot of people know about it split. We just popped out.
Yeah.
So like we're really protecting our blessings. And our next move is always our best move. So just know everything we have involved is in real estate. It's in growth and in scaling. It's in everything that's making money we're invested in, we're working on. And that's another benefit to having a partner is like, you know, sometimes like I know like for growth things, sometimes I scare her because like sometimes I feel like the things I throw her are too big.
Yeah.
But she always like is my biggest like help person in it.
Yep.
So like what we're investing in everything that makes money. And it was funny, we were talking earlier and I said, man, like we made millions off of like the nightlife, hospitality, whatever. And I was like, man, it's crazy. We can make million off of one transaction. And I just want to like pause for that because like that's growth. But people will never understand what we had to give up to get to that.
Yeah.
The sacrifices we had to make to get to that.
Yeah.
People will never understand that. And it's not for them to understand. But like for me and her, as long as like we know what it is, that's all that really matters. And the sad part is a lot of people are not going to realize our value till we're no longer accessible.
Yeah.
One day, me and this woman right here are going to be unaccessible. We're going to be like your Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, people are not going to see us. They're just going to see our effects, and they're going to wish they had valued it differently. And people are going to try to reach out to us. But guess what? They didn't reach out to us when it really mattered. So we're going to know it's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it took that for them to realize that. But it shouldn't have. Because they should have realized our value when they had us. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, like, I'm really like, I'm really at a point now where like I really want us to see us evolve as a people.
Yep.
And I know that might sound like really corny and not like real, but I feel like that's the missing piece. And I really feel like me and this woman right here are trendsetters. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't pop our shit. We don't feel like we have to show anything on social media. Oh, we're driving Rolls Royces. Look at this. We're not doing this shit for likes. We're doing it for keeps. Like we're really wanting to see people grow from like what we do.
Yeah.
We're really like in the field right now.
Yep.
But I think the hard part about that is like people don't know how to accept real no more. Because you know what's real now?
Fake.
Fake is real.
Yeah.
Fake is the new real.
So sad.
So when they see real in their face, they don't even recognize it because they're like, nah, people said I shouldn't like you. People said this, people said that. But it is what it is. So I feel like what we represent is not really what's accepted anymore in our culture. So I just feel like I'm thankful that I've had the experience to go through what we've gone through, good and bad. And the bads have been bad and the goods have been really good. But I'm thankful that I experienced that because like, you know, I told Shay, like we only live one time on this side. And I wouldn't change a thing because like I got to do it with like somebody who I really feel like when I look right here, like it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, you can't equate that into a dollar amount. You can't equate that into anything like good and bad. So I'm just thankful for like the good and the bad because through everything you like learn something.
Yeah.
Word.
Facts. Yeah, got some good things coming. I mean, this nightlife shit, anybody that's in it, you can't do it forever. That's a fact.
You gotta have a segue to something else.
You're right.
So we got some shit popping, right?
You cannot do this shit forever. This is not something that you want to
I'm
do
glad
forever.
you said that. Well,
yeah.
I agree, but maybe you don't want to be in the same place in the industry forever, right? Because like speaking for myself, I'm 33, I'm turning 34.
Look good, man. Black don't crack.
But the thing, well, I appreciate that. But the thing is, like, on a deeper level, like, I can't be a worker bee forever, right?
Right.
So you gotta evolve. You gotta go to the next level and move on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
appreciate that. Last thing, any venues that y'all want to shout out? Like, if Explicit didn't exist and y'all were just out here, what are some venues that y'all really like? Y'all like going to? If y'all want to, support any other venues, what are some of y'all favorites that y'all go to? You mentioned Eden before. You got some connections, personal connections.
Shout out
with those
Mike
people.
Genius, my brothers.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't really go out much. I don't really like move.
She a house potato.
Move like that. So if I was to go out, it would be Eden. I know for our staff meeting last year, we had went out to Cloud, which was a very good
Shout out
time.
to Kilo.
I remember that day.
Kilo, like, man,
I was there.
She shot us like that. So the reason we got so much hospitality, because like she runs shit there.
Yeah.
And it's so well ran.
Yeah.
The wings are fire. Remember we went there one day and we ate wings.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Was that
So, like-
Rise Bar or Cloud?
No, this is Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went there for our staff meeting, but she made sure like everything was like so good. We used to go to Firehouse back in the day. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember one time with the Firehouse, I bought every section bottles. It was on like 4 sections of 5. Life
Yeah,
flights.
we honestly, like I said earlier, we honestly do not get out much at all just because we're in this shit.
When we do go out, we go out like out of the country or like out of state.
out of town. Or if we go out, it's mainly to just like a restaurant, get lit at a restaurant and go home.
But we going out for Amanda's birthday at Eden.
Yeah.
Rooftop.
Relit tomorrow.
Relit tomorrow.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, man. Shout out to my boy Mike and Genius.
Yeah.
They doing their thing over there.
I'm gonna pull up over there.
All vibes. You coming tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up.
Shout out to Eden.
Yeah,
Rooftop. What is it called? Garden of Eden. Ooh, that's a flex.
that's it. Nice.
So proud of them.
It is.
Word.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Well, thank you so much, Shae and Will. I really appreciate y'all coming through.
We appreciate you.
Dropping
Thanks
a lot
for
of
having
gems
us.
on the
Thank you.
podcast. You know what I mean? Letting the folks know like your perspective on entrepreneurship, most likely as a couple, and also giving your unique perspective on like what it's like to do business here in Charlotte. So definitely appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you for
on.
having us.
Yeah,
man.
shout out to where the nightlife industry.
Hey.
Oh,
Going out
the
podcast,
side.
baby.
Spartan being
Like, follow,
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah, like, follow, subscribe. So going out, the reason I call it going out, as you can see, it's a play on words. Definitely, because I know like this industry is definitely is all about competition. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like we want to give folks like a place to come to like hear knowledge, hear advice, so they could ultimately win, right? Whether it's working in the industry, or if you're looking for an exit into entrepreneurship.
Nice.
That's why we come here. We had these conversations to kind of spread those gems around. So
Yeah, and shout out to KNF Consulting as
Oh,
well. We have that
so
going
good.
on.
I want to challenge every venue owner in Charlotte to tap in.
Yes.
Let's do a challenge. Like every venue owner, I want them to tap into this podcast and come and rock with my boy, and just get their perspective because that's what's needed right now.
Word.
I challenge you.
Appreciate that.
Let's go.
We'll close at that. Thank you so much for coming through, y'all.
Appreciate
Love
you.
y'all.
Share.
That was so good.
That's gonna go viral. That's gonna go viral. Let's go for 1 million views.